chaos reign.
All right, guys. This is the after-hour edition of the Chaos Reign channel. I'm going to open up all lines for those that want to, have their discussion of today's stream or any other subjects. The floor will be now open for y'all now. So, behave, guys, And like always, I will have this on my channel. I'm not sure the day and time of week, but I will. So now the floor is now open for everybody to communicate. Oh, fuck. Hold on, guys.
All right, Gary, good. Your thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Hope Mr. Solutions heard the show so he could take a couple of them tips.
Well, most people nowadays, personally, how can I say it, Jay, they'll come across the title, but like I said, not everything's gonna be found on YouTube. Personally, so if they came across it, good. Not, it is what it is. I'm hoping that this is good for those that will, get once I put it up, be helpful.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. What tips am I supposed to receive, Jay from New York?
Well, I think you're going to get Gary upset because he don't like repeating the show and what his guest was talking about. So I don't know, you might have to listen to the show, Mr. Solutions.
Well, wait a minute. I think, well, hold on. I think that's absurd, and I think that's certainly not catering to the customer.
I know. Tell him about it. Gary, tell him what was the show about. Come on. He's here.
No, I'm not doing that tonight. Whatever was on is on. Wait, let me ask a question. Mr. Solutions, are you subscribed to the Chaos Reign channel? First off, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite comprehend that. Would you repeat?
You know YouTube, right? There's many channels on YouTube. Do you watch YouTube?
Sure.
Are you subscribed to people on YouTube channels? Like hit the red button and hit the bell?
No.
When they're...
No.
Okay, so you watch... So you don't
that would
subscribe to
entangle me a little too much, but go ahead.
So you just watch content and never subscribe to a channel that you seem worthy or deem worthy of saying, I'll mess with this channel. If anytime it comes on live or uploads, I might watch the content. That's what you tell me?
Well, that's a good, that's an interesting take on it. And first of all, I would vehemently disagree with the first assertion that you made. I pay a quite steep cable bill, so I'm sure that YouTube, I don't know exactly how they slice it up, but they either do or should get some of that. So it's not like I'm just a freeloader. I'm paying for the internet service. Now, there are some subscribers that I wouldn't mind donating to, okay, were I on that particular methodology to pay them. And a lot of times they don't accept maybe cashier's checks or something of that sort. But there are a few that I would, but I certainly disagree that I'm a freeloader if I'm paying for cable service, internet service, by which is the medium that that YouTube is broadcast on.
So I'm trying to follow, Mr. Sir. So you're saying you pay internet service and that's it, correct?
Right. And YouTube has to have a relationship.
One thing.
With my internet.
Oh, hear me? One thing. When we pay internet, really, these apps that says free, there's nothing really free personally. I'm not sure why people say there's things free. Everything is a cost. unfortunately. But that's another story. But go on.
Well, wait a minute, Gary. I think if you're going to disconnect now you're making me go into this. Like my internet service provider and YouTube have a relationship, a business-based relationship. So I feel that I pay too much. Well, I don't pay too much, but I potentially could pay too much for my internet service. We've had some.
YouTube doesn't have a relationship with the internet, but that's a different story. Mr. Solution does it. I mean, it's just on there. It's a platform that's on the internet. It's not the way TV works. Internet is not the way TV works. That's why they get so much money off of subscriptions and also advertisement.
Well, yeah, they also have ads. That's true. So there are multiple sources of potential income. So look, right. This is the what's that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the thing that I disavow is your initial statement that if one watches a YouTube program and they don't subscribe, everybody asks to subscribe to their program. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, sometimes I'm just sampling a program or whatever. But I disagree vehemently that one is a freeloader if they don't subscribe to everyone that asks on a YouTube channel. That's absurd, in my opinion. But look here, I think we veered away. I'm just asking what tips could I possibly take away? And, well, since you raised it, Jay, from New York, and Gary feels, I think he's a little bit discombobulated regarding the payment structure. But give me the top two, Jay, from New York, if you don't want to disgorge the entire program.
She was talking about first dates, and she's a matchmaker. And what she was saying is that if you're financially successful, there should be no limit on if you're trying to have a good time. That there's nothing wrong with you spending on a first date. You know what?
Who's spending? There are two people on the date, presumably.
The male.
Oh, okay. So why are we going to be sexist here when we have two equal parties?
Well, that's why I wish she was listening in because she was on,
Well, but I'm asking you because evidently you put some value on what was being said. So I'm asking you.
No, I wanted you to hear her because then you could have kind of went back and forth with her and if you.
Well, I'm still here.
Oh, hey, there you go.
How are you doing, Miss? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, Miss, I thought you were going to go. Oh, you still here? Damn.
Listening to your closing show, and then it popped up. I'm in the middle of doing my hair, and then it popped up. Oh, this is the after hour.
You doing your hair in your house by yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm just taking my hair down, about to wash it and stuff, and detangling it. So
she's gonna take down that nice long hair, that 4C hair. No weave, people, ladies.
Right,
we forgot to say that, LeTisa. Have your natural hair, ladies. It slipped my mind. Unfortunately.
So explain. I'm glad that you're here. Again, that we were speaking about financially stable and somebody that's has some wealth, and doesn't have a problem in the sense of he's not gonna go broke by spending $200-$300 in a night, if that.
Okay, but the premise was, what is the price tag or something like that? I'm simply stating that successful men. First off, women, it's not about money. It's about the experience, right? You can give a woman a great experience without having to spend a lot of money. But then he said, well, what about a walk in a park or being in a park with a napkin and some water? And I said, no, no men should be doing that, not even broke men. When it comes to a date for successful men, typically successful men go about their dating life as if it's their normal, regular life. You're rolling her into your life. You're trying to see if she can fit in with your life and your lifestyle. Now, what I see from successful men who operate from this low effort dating style it's typically because and I do see it a lot with much older men. The question is, what type of life do you have other than working, building your wealth, your legacy? What interests, what hobbies do you have? Typically, those dates revolve around that and giving her an experience that is pleasurable to her. You've approached a woman and you're saying you want her to agree to something, but yet you won't give her something to say yes to. Because a walk in the park, having and drinking a bottle of water is not going to yield you a high net of yeses. It's going to be like, this dude has money and he's trying to lowball me, and he's trying to do nothing but trying to get greater return. So that's essentially where that conversation came from.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you, ma'am. I'm sorry. What's your name?
It's LeTisa.
LeTisa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice to meet you. First of all, let me just ask you this. Could you falsify the statement that you just made? In other words, do you see anything wrong with that statement and with a woman that has that particular attitude?
No.
And we're talking about first dates, right?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't see anything wrong with what I just said, and I don't see anything wrong with a woman having the expectation that she's going to have a pleasurable experience from a guy who approached her and asked her out.
Well, do you think women should approach men and ask them out?
No, I do not, because I'm more old school and more traditional. So, no, I don't think that women should approach men, but I do know that there are women who do that. However, I do understand that typically, inherently, when it comes to dating, we all do what is natural to us. And women who approach men, those men don't really have a high attraction or initial interest in that woman at first. So the outcome of her that turning into something more, the statistics do not bear that women who initiate and approach men first end up in relationships.
Well, I would think that has the most to do as to whether or not the man is attracted to her.
Yes, typically, if a man is not approaching you, it's because he's not attracted. He's not interested. There's nothing about that woman that piques his initial interest and attraction. Usually she'll approach him first, she'll engage him in conversation, and he's caught off guard because it's something that rarely happens. Most men understand that women expect to be approached. So to get approached by a woman, it piques your initial interest. But what men fail to realize is, especially for men who are always complaining about there are no feminine women out here, well, femininity does not initiate. Feminine energy does not initiate. Masculine energy does. So if you're desiring and liking women who are approaching...
May I just ask you a question regarding that? Where does that come from, that feminine energy does not initiate? Where does that come from?
That comes from the myriad of psychologists who have studied dynamics between men and women, and it's whatever you want to call it, label it. It could be something, it could be called a Hail Mary pass. But that energy, that women, to embody the characteristics and traits that men consider to be feminine, do not come from women who initiate. It's just the way that our brains tend to operate.
Okay. Well, look, I would consider, first of all, I'm a successful man, and I would put a superlative on that. I'm a very successful man. And so the thing is this: men don't like being duped. And you know that many times, if you talked about the psychology, there's an article in the New York Post and a whole slew of other information sources that points out that a third of women who go on dates, now these are westernized women, particularly American women, a third of women who go on dates with men only go on dates for the meal. Is that okay with you?
Okay, what about the majority that's not going on dates for meals.
Okay, but I'm just asking you to deal with that third. A third is a significant figure, and that is what they scientifically detected based on the survey. So I'm just asking you, first of all, do you care about men, and do you care about men getting a fair deal?
I have a question. Before she answers that question, I could either call up during the show. Why you call to after show? You want to be on YouTube or something?
Hey, I'm busy. I didn't hear the show. I'm sorry.
But hold on, Miss Lucian, the show's out there now. I hear your voice.
My grandest apologies.
All right, answer the question, LeTisa.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I do. My matchmaking clients are men, all men. So yes, I do.
Well, but these are men who pay you, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, but okay. My question is, do you care that men get a fair deal, whether or not they're your clients?
Yes, I do. I answered your question.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me tell you, from a man's standpoint, and many men feel this way. Okay, I'm over 45, but a lot of men that are much, much younger than I am are seeing the dating market in America. First of all, women have changed, LeTisa. They've changed tremendously. They're modern women. They're not your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers. They fought for equality, and they have it. Now, some women have tried to hide behind femininity, but it's only when it benefits them. I've asked women, for example, old-fashioned. I've asked them, was it part of old-fashionism to not have sex before you're married? And they say, yeah. I said, but did you obey that? And they say, no. So they pick and choose how they want to be old-fashioned, and men are calling the BS on that. Because what a lot of women are out for is just to bilk men. Look, a bottle of water and a walk in the park is tremendously sufficient for two people without ulterior motives, because they are about the conversation, having the conversation, getting to know each other. If a woman has a price, she can just total that up and say to me, this is my price. And I can look at it and say, okay, and I can agree or disagree. But all this trying to finagle money out of a man, saying she deserves an experience, she doesn't deserve any more of an experience than he does. Do you know that there are that there are women on some of these apps, Cash Apps and other Instagram, and what they're doing is they're getting money from men when they have boyfriends. Women are using a variety of techniques to so-called get the bag or level up. And a lot of men just aren't going for that today.
Okay. But you understand, this is not new to women. Y'all are just finding out because women have been running their mouths and letting y'all know what women are doing. But women going out with men for dinner dates is nothing new. It was a very heightened phenomenon during the Great Depression, during the 60s. Single women who were of a certain age, yeah, they were accepting dinner dates from men because they didn't have any money. And so men are willing to take them out and spend, they can get a meal out of it. It's a way for them to sustain their life, essentially. So that's nothing new. But what I don't understand is, why are men continuously going after women who have a high likelihood of engaging in this behavior? You all say, well, we don't know, but yet there are always signs that lead you to believe that this, let's just say, if you are a man above 50 and you're trying to date a woman in her 20s, you have to understand that the likelihood of that being a transactional relationship is very high. If there is an age gap of 10 years or higher, 7 years or higher, the likelihood of that being a transactional relationship is very high, especially if you're very well off. So you guys know and understand this, but you don't want it to be that way. You're stuck in idealism of it shouldn't be that way. I should be able to get the woman that I want without having to pay anything. Well,
I didn't say that. First of all, I did not say that. That's not what I said.
I'm saying y'all as in a general sense. That men who have this idea of these women are trying to get over on us, we're getting the bad deal, the bad end of the deal, but you're getting that based on the women you're choosing.
Yeah, let me print. Well, if the vast majority of women identify in a certain category.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Research? Hello? You there? Hello?
Who you're asking?
The man. You there? Can I ask you a question? I know you're there.
What, are you talking to me, Gary?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. You said research, but go ahead.
No, I forgot your name. Miss Solutions, sorry.
That's it. Take some fish oil, Gary. Go ahead. It helps with memory. Go ahead.
Yeah. In regards to these dinner dates, and we had this conversation, I think months ago, maybe last year, when I came across it when I'm doing my content on here. Because you're in your mid or late 40s. Have you, and keep real, have you dated any woman that's like 15 years younger than you?
Close. Yeah, about 12. Well, yes. Oh, yeah, of course. Yes. Now that I recall.
I didn't say 20, but 15. Okay. Now, in asking this question, have you in your own life experienced this firsthand? Before it come across information, have you experienced this?
Wait a minute, experience what specifically?
A dinner date. She used it as a dinner date. A woman used you as a dinner date.
No. I've had one or two women that have tried to do that, specify what type of restaurant they want to go to. And look here, let me just clear the air here. I have no problem sharing with a woman, and I only date women, once I get to know her. But I'm basically referring, and maybe I should have specified initially, I'm talking about first, maybe second dates, but particularly first dates, just going out with the person. And I'm just saying, one woman, as I recall, she said to me, we had a very nice conversation. And then when it came to going out, and she specified a particular place, and I declined, and she says, but I'm the girl. And I said, indeed you are, but you're not my girl. Okay. And my position is that men should only give money to women who are they're worthy women, that they're in a relationship with, or women who are their relatives, but not stray, strange women. They shouldn't be getting money from men.
Well, let me ask you a question. How old are you exactly?
I'm over 45. And the reason I don't say specifically is because you have a lot of numbnuts, and they use that as a deflection and as a distraction. But I'm a very mature, successful male.
Okay, hold on. Are you above?
I got that from you, Jay, from New York, so shut the hell up.
Are you above?
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Are you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are you above or below 50?
Right in that vicinity, a little bit above, bit, tiny bit.
Okay.
But I'm in great shape, though. I'm fantastic. Go ahead.
Well, I can't determine that. I don't know what you look like.
Well, I'm telling you that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I've learned that people say a lot of untrue things when people can't see them.
Right, but I'm not saying something that's untrue, so go ahead with your narrative.
I know that, but okay. Have you ever been married?
Yes.
Okay. And how long were you married for?
Oh, wait a minute. Could you just go ahead and get to the end of the story?
It's not an end of a story. I'm trying to understand your perspective, and in order for me to understand where you're coming from, I need certain details.
Several years. I'm not hurt. I even get, just like I get physical counseling, I also get...
I did not say anything about you being hurt.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just clarifying. I've also gotten therapy. I have no reservations about...
Mr. Solution, she's not asking for detail, just straight up
Well,
answer
I'm
it.
clarifying to her so she can get to her question. Go ahead.
Don't need clarification. Okay, so you've been married for several years. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay. Are you looking to remarry?
Yeah. Now that's a good question. Yes, I would definitely like to be in a relationship with a good quality woman. Absolutely.
No, I didn't ask if you wanted to be in a relationship. I asked if you wanted to get married.
Marriage, yes, marriage, i.e. the relationship of marriage. Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you want to have children?
No, not particularly.
Okay. What age group of women are you dating?
Well, I would date women anywhere from their late 30s to, I'm going to say early 50s, if they're in good shape.
Okay.
That's a qualifier.
Okay. What qualities and characteristics are you looking for in a potential mate?
Well, like I say, health would be an excellent one, that she's in good shape, good physical shape, and that she's cooperative. In other words, a woman that, would be in a situation to cooperate, to hear, and just be cooperative.
Okay. What else?
As to what age?
No. Yeah. What else? He said good health, and he said cooperativeness.
Yeah, that she's in good health, that she's and cooperative.
He would marry. He said he would marry again, man. He's been married before.
Yeah.
Wait, who's talking? Excuse me. I hear background. Who's that?
I think that's Jay from New York is off mute.
All right. Continue.
Okay. What other traits or characteristics are you looking for in a long-term mate?
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, just to give a little bit more specificity, I would like for her to not to have a whole lot of debt, especially student loan debt. I'd like for her to be autonomous. Certainly, well, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know about you guys. But the student loan debt would be an overarching issue and probably be a no-go. Or any kind of debt. If she had massive debt, I wouldn't want to take that on, or a person with that. So those would be three that I could think of just right away. Pleasant, easy to be with, like I say, cooperative, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you want a woman who is feminine, attractive, cooperative, low debt, keeping herself up. So she's a woman in her 30s to late 30s to early 50s, keeping herself up. What about children? Can she have kids or no?
That's a good question. I wouldn't mind one if a woman had one, or if this particular woman had one, I would be okay. Now, one other thing, ma'am, I would be concerned about, if she has a child, about her child's father. I would be very concerned about that. But say if she had been married and divorced, that would be optimal, as opposed to a woman who had had a child just out of wedlock.
Okay. And what about her education? Does she need to have some type of educational background, or no?
I would leave that somewhat open, based upon the interview and the walk in the park. I could discern what the strength was there.
Do you have any, do you have any specifications as to her height?
Well, I mentioned being fit before, but specific height requirements, no.
Okay. And how tall are you?
6'2".
Okay. All right, because usually men over 6 feet, they like someone who's a little bit taller. It could be a mix. They tend to prefer someone a little bit taller. So she could be 5 feet tall, and you're okay with that?
Yeah, 5 feet. That's kind of low, but yeah, sure. If everything else is good, that wouldn't be a non-starter for me.
Oh, okay. So, body-wise, you said someone who's fit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, dress size, because that can be a plethora of, that can look different for black men. So, what would be your required dress size for her?
Well, I don't subscribe to that particular nomenclature, but I would not want a woman over a size 10, preferably 8 or under.
Okay. All right. The reason why I'm asking you these questions is...
Oh, that's okay. They're good questions so far. Go ahead.
Well, the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because I'm trying to understand what type of woman would be okay with going for a walk in the park with just a napkin and some water, right?
May I answer that? I can preempt you.
No, it was a rhetorical question. Here's the thing. When a woman understands that you have no money, right, she's willing to work with that. But a man who has money is still moving like a man who doesn't have money. It speaks to other things. Like, are you going to keep going forward? And your requirements for her, is it going to measure out equally for what she requires of you? Like, it is about trade-offs. It's like, okay, I'm expected to be all of this, but but can I have any expectations of you? And it's
sure.
Hold on. And then one of them expectations is, can I have a pleasurable date? Can I really enjoy this date? Can it be an experience for me since you asked me out?
I wouldn't mind if she asked me out because successful men don't like to waste a lot of time. But the entrance, I see exactly where I think you're logically going, and the entrance into that is we get to know each other first. Because if her personality is all about money and the money she can wrangle out of a man, well, she can move on to a guy like... I'm sorry.
No one said that. I'm not saying that, nor am I going there.
Rank the money out.
The thing is that...
Right. But wait a minute, before you go on, I don't have a problem spending money with a person that's compatible with me. That's not an issue for me, so I don't have to be counseled on that. I'm glad to do that, but I don't like to be gamed, as it were.
But we're talking about that first date.
You're right, exactly.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is the type of woman that you are describing.
Right.
The mindset that you have is she's not going to be interested in you.
Well, let me say this. I think that women like that have been too damn commercialized, you see. And for women to be given that particular attitude that they've got to go out and got to get money right away from a man, how do I know her real status? How do I know that she's not already with a man and is not just going out with me just as a fling? You know.
Hold on. See, your vetting, then that just goes to show that you don't trust yourself to pick the right man.
I don't trust the women. No. I don't trust a lot of American women, and a lot of men don't.
Okay, but first and foremost,
it goes to he should have chose better. Okay.
Why should I trust her? I don't know her.
They should have chose better.
Hold on a minute.
Black women, when they date men.
Wait a minute,
interrupt. Being besties, you should have chose better. That's what Mr. Solutions should do. You should
choose better. What would you say
better,
a guy should spend on a woman like this?
Miss Lady,
you should choose better. You should choose better.
Okay, we heard that. Shut up. Shit.
Relax. The conversation was decent. Relax.
From what I'm seeing is the first day he doesn't have enough information.
Right.
But it goes back to your vetting. You're not collecting enough information before you take a woman out. Why can't you collect the information first, then decide whether or not you're going to take her out?
Oh, absolutely, and that's a good point. And let me just tell you how I handle it is deal with the woman on the phone, have a conversation with her, And I've been on dates. I mean, everything is cut back since COVID, but usually my dates last an hour to 2 hours. I mean, we have a great time. And, a lot of people are opting now for the coffee date. This is a real problem of women having abused men's generosity. So a coffee date is certainly in order. And it's, wait a minute, let me just make this statement. It's the principle of the thing. That's it. It's a principle involved here, and it's not just about what the woman wants. Go ahead.
Okay, but you yourself said that you've, according to your knowledge, you've never really had a woman use you for a dinner date. I mean, you said that you thought that a woman wanting to go to a particular restaurant, you took that as her trying to do so, but you don't have any concrete evidence that this, in fact, actually happened. What I've come to understand in talking to men is that you all are not experiencing this, but you have a fear of experiencing something that you heard could happen. So you see how that can be an issue. You cannot go into dating and expect a positive outcome with a fearful mindset. And this sounds like a lot of fear that a lot of men are operating in.
Well, let me say this. See, I think you're leaving out a lot, and I ask you, could you falsify your assertion? Well, see, the thing of it is, if I'm dealing with a woman who considers herself an equal and not schizophrenic, because we're talking about this independence-dependent, where is her independence in dating?
You're talking to a manosphere type person.
Oh, I'm talking from a practical point. And stop interrupting. Stop interrupting.
And can be very verbally abusive.
This lady, see, you have no scruples.
And, stop who doesn't want to spend money on a first date ever?
Okay, but
you're an interrupter.
What he said did make logical sense, because a lot of men today are now accepting that women are claiming that they want to be equal to men, that they're independent, right? So they're more modern in our ideals and their behavior. So men are now asking the question, well, if that's the case, then why can't we be equal in all things? So it seems as if he's trying to say, I see you as an equal, so I don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You need to come to the table to balance this out to where now we're equal. And
okay, well then don't look to me to cook a meal. Don't look to me for my feminine energy to soothe you, to inspire you.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of intangible benefits there are to being with a woman and to being with a man. So don't look to that. Is this going to be transactional? Okay, we could be just like, hey, it could be two dudes going out on a date or two women going out on a date. Is this going to be transactional like that? It's not going to be the yin-yang flow, okay? Just make it transactional. And in fact, I'll bring my own bottled water, okay? And you bring yours, okay?
And that's going to be happy with that. But that's
going Dutch and being a cheapskate.
Miss Lady, Gary, for someone who's
cheapskate, but there's not going to be any attraction. There's not going to be
someone's pockets who are always doubtful. I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
Hold on. Look, this is when they
and if you want to know who'd want to date a woman like me, lawyers, doctors, scientists, venture capitalists.
And you'll show them probably maybe a good time.
So you know what? Psychologists.
You'll show them a good time. Good luck.
They had no problem with my date. We had great times. Nobody ever had a problem dating me.
Guys,
okay?
We have a guest. We have a guest.
Yeah, overtime.
Lord Jesus.
Thank you, LeTisa. Keep it going, though, LeTisa.
Well, LeTisa, I think what you said does not fit into the modern parlance, because women have asserted their equality. And I'm just saying equality is equal, and especially when we're just meeting. Now, look, when we get into values and roles, those are subordinate or subsequent actions. It's not that case when we first meet. We're not bound to each other. We're trying to secure enough information to determine should we go forward. So there should be a dating protocol, and all the onus shouldn't be on the man's wallet.
Okay, but your values are your values, right? Your values are your values. If you are the type that, and she had a point too, you know, you have a lot of men who are stepping up and saying, yeah, we're equal in this. But on the back end, when you get into a relationship, now they want to switch into basing the relationship dynamic on gender roles. If you are going to embrace gender roles, you have to start that from the very beginning. You can't just
I don't
say,
think that's true. First of all, I don't think that's true, what you just said. I don't think that can be true, because one can't have roles or values with everyone. They have
sir, your roles and your values are outside of other people. Those are that just makes up who you are and how you choose to operate in society. Your values
right, and I determine that once I get to know if the person is compatible.
No, hold on. No, your values.
Gary, why do you keep calling my name?
Because she wants you to listen from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
Hold on, I will listen for a woman, but I don't have to be a woman.
This is no, but this is why we fall short sometimes, because we always talking shit and we don't want to Gary, what the fuck we gotta learn. Come on.
You and I can talk. Why don't you just sit back and shut up for a minute? Just sit back and be quiet for a minute with your broke ass pockets.
Oh my God. Okay. But the point that I'm making is that your values are for you, and that you find someone that is compatible and suitable with you based on your values. Now, their values don't have to necessarily be yours, but they should be compatible. There should be some type of harmony there with your values. Your values don't change depending on who you're dating. So if you believe in gender roles, you should be operating in that even from the very beginning. You're going to be that gentleman. You're going to be that chivalrous guy. You're going to be old-fashioned, meaning you're going to do the courting. You can't say, well, I'm going to switch into being modern because of the dating aspect, because I don't want to be taken advantage of. But then when I get in a relationship, I expect you now to conform to the gender roles that I truly identify.
And be submissive. And don't speak up like this person does. Okay, now you get yelled and screamed at and cursed out. This is a person who wants women to be on the front line in the military.
Oh my God!
Because they want
and just because a woman has a equality doesn't mean that you can't lift up a damn box that might be a little too heavy for her and might be a little lightweighted. Doesn't mean because we got equality, I'm gonna tell her, well, you know what? We got equality. You lift that shit. Come on, man. I think that's where men got to be a little genuine.
Gary, I don't know where you work, but if that's part of the job description, why shouldn't she do it?
Oh, my God.
Wow. I'm saying, listen, it's one thing if she took a job that lifts a certain amount of boxes, but if it's something that's heavy, right, and she asks you to lift or you see that she's struggling, you don't...
wait a minute. I think you're taking the conversation astray. Let's get back to what LeTisa was talking.
I'm just giving you, that's part of...
But you can do that. You run around and be a super sucker and a Captain Save-A-Ho.
Super sucker. But go ahead. You see, this is what I'm saying. The way it's viewed by some men. But
question of the guest, please.
Yeah.
Miss LeTisa, are you still there? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Have you ever had a client who wanted to hire you to help find a woman that's suitable to him, and then after speaking to him for a while, you realize that he doesn't like women at all?
Wait a minute, you're an old married bat. Why don't you step back?
Whoa.
For a man, and you don't know a damn thing about the dating situation or cycle. You are just...
personal, Mr. Lucian. She didn't say your name. Go ahead.
Wait, you're just interjecting confusion.
Miss LeTisa, have you ever
never had a client. I have extensive conversations with potential clients, and I only take on men who actually like women, who have a healthy outlook on women, and who actually want to get married. So if I determine that not to be the case, I will not take you on as a client and refund your consultation fee.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and go to your husband and have coital relationships.
Oh my goodness.
Solutions. Come on, man. I mean, this is why I asked the question.
Well, Gary, wait a minute. Jay from New York, you are a doormat for women, okay? So what you say regarding women is immediately disregarded by any competent man. I don't know where you lost your gonads in terms of dealing with women, but you certainly you're a gelding.
Okay,
so I'll be a doormat for women, but I won't be a doormat for men. How about that?
You are, though. It doesn't matter. A doormat is a doormat.
Well, listen. If there's a puddle, in front,
I ask a question.
Hold on. If there's a puddle in the front, I'm gonna put my jacket so she could walk across so she don't sink in there. All right? There you go.
All right. That shut me up. Okay. Yes, sir. You outdid yourself.
And listen, I might not have a lot of money, but I'm not going to go to the park with just water and shit like that. We're going to go to if I have to find Groupon and
wait a minute. First of all, going to the park should not be denigrated. Going to the park is a very good thing. It's healthy. There's fresh air. There's opportunity to get to know each other. Usually people don't want to do things that are transparent when they're being non-transparent.
Yeah,
okay,
but you got to eat anyway, Mr. Solutions.
If we're talking about Central Park, of course, it's a beautiful park. There's a lot to do there. You can take a little carriage ride. Get our little clothes up.
Yeah, but it costs money, LeTisa. It costs money.
Wait a minute.
How much does it cost?
You're going to have to ride that horse.
Wait, so Mr. Solutions, do you mean to tell me that you really just want to go to the park and just walk and talk? That's it?
No, yes. And drink water.
You notice this married woman who's not giving her husband the proper attention that he should receive.
No, I just backed him out 5 minutes ago.
Maybe what?
Just hurry up.
Stick to the script, Mr. Solutions. Do you just want to walk in the park and talk?
Are you saying that you just want to go a walk in the park and talk?
Look. When I go on a date, it's all about having fun. Would whoever that is that's interrupting, please mind your damn manners if you ever had any. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The situation can be somewhat fluid, but this is the way I conduct it or transact it. I speak to the woman on the phone to determine if there's any compatibility. And then we make a schedule to meet at a certain place. And then once we meet at that place, I mean, things can move about. I mean, it's not set in stone. But I'm not going out with my wallet empty wallet like Jay from New York saying, hey, take me for all I'm not worth. And so, I mean, you guys are the ones that are getting hung up on something. You're making it about the issue that the man should be pressed into dating slavery. That's bullshit.
So let me ask you another question. How do you determine that a woman is compatible with you?
Well, we talk, we communicate, we have the conversation, we get to know each other and see. Let me just explain. The 3 stages of dating are stimulus, value, and role. Stimulus is when I see you, do I like you? Are you acceptable? You're fit, okay? And then we get into values. What are our values? We have an adult conversation, for God's sake. And then should it move on past that, then of course we determine what roles we're going to assume.
What?
Okay, but what I'm asking is on what basis are you looking to say, okay, give specifics as to what makes a woman compatible with you?
Well, yeah, it would be the way the conversation flows. We'll take like Miss Lady. Hell no. I mean, maybe for a good time, but not for anything past that.
You probably change your mind.
That sounds great to me, because I would never waste 5 seconds going out on a date with you. I already know.
Okay, thank you very much, but you're a liar.
I know I'm not.
I sent you a ticket for Hawaii, your ass would be on the next flight.
No, thank you. I've been to Hawaii 4 times. I don't need.
Lady, hold on.
Listen, my nephew's a captain of a major airline. I could get a free ticket.
I'm talking to LeTisa.
I don't need you to do anything for me.
But you would.
Yep, you brought it up.
No, actually, I wouldn't waste my time with you, Mr. Solution.
You would. You wasted a lot of time, and you have a little bit more to waste.
You would. I would not waste my time with you.
Lady, whatever. Fuck.
Yeah, but you see, this is not good, Mr. Solution.
Okay, but
this
here's
is what she's trying to fix for you.
And this lady would be I just used her as an example.
Well, don't.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
You're not going on a date with her.
Well, Gary, I'm sorry, Jay, what are you? You're an advocate?
But
Whoa. I'm a listener. I'm listening. Go ahead.
That's okay. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm trying to learn from LeTisa. Go ahead.
Okay, so.
Go ahead, LeTisa.
I'm still not understanding how you view what makes a woman compatible with you. Like, I need specifics, if you don't mind.
Okay, I like her. We're sitting there. We're looking eyeball to eyeball. We're having an adult conversation. Obviously, mutual interests play a role. And just do the chemistry. We often talk about that. I do think chemistry is important. I think chemistry certainly can be developed. I think the best chemistry for two people is the chemistry that they create, because I think automatic chemistry tends to flame out pretty rapidly, as experience demonstrates. But those are some things. We're talking with each other. We care about what each other are saying, and we look forward to more of the same. And so I think that's the foundation for a healthy continuance.
Okay. So what are your values?
Well, regarding what? That's a very broad-based question. Values regarding what? I told you about the woman. If she's willing to stay there and have the conversation, we are sharing mutual interests. So values specific to what?
What are core values?
Excuse me?
What are your core values? The core values that you are looking for, that you're interested, that a woman has to, that you exhibit and that she has to exhibit to determine compatibility. So what are your core values?
Okay. Well, transparency, that she's willing to keep her word. For example, when I go on a date, I usually show up there about 15 to 30 minutes before the designated time. And I would not like her to be an hour, 45 minutes late, 45 minutes to an hour late. So I think accuracy, transparency, and
accuracy.
Well, first of all, if we're just getting to meet each other, there can't be an exhaustive number of things because I don't know the person. But like I say, her showing up on time and not expecting to receive a super compensation for having shown up.
What do you mean it's compensation? Like you're going to give her $50 or $100 stipend?
A Fruit Loop.
We're talking to LeTisa. We're not talking to the Fruit Loops.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So it seems as if you have these expectations of her, which there's no problem, right? Your expectations are built in your core values. I'm sure there's some other things that you expect. Kindness, reciprocity, attentiveness, right? What can be her expectations of you?
Well, pretty much the same, because that's what makes people compatible, is they, the old adage, opposites attract. That's not really true. People need to be on the same page. So, yeah, we're looking see, that's the whole point of meeting, is to determine if...
Compatibility is not about y'all being the same. It is about y'all being on the same page, but being on the same page is not about y'all being the same. It's about the differences not being a problem, not arising to conflict. Like, you can be in harmony even though you're different, meaning the things that make you different, your ideals, beliefs, personalities, even politics, isn't a problem in a relationship. That's what builds compatibility. What most people are speaking on is chemistry. Your common interests, your attractiveness, that's all based in chemistry. And that's what most people are confusing with compatibility. So it's like, to me, it just sounds as if, and I could be wrong, but it just sounds as if you have these expectations, right? And even if she has the expectation of, well, you asked me out and I'm expecting that I'm going to enjoy this evening or this date with you, and I would have to ask, do you really think walking and talking is a really enjoyable date when you could just do that over the phone for whatever time you do?
Well, let me respond to that. I definitely, absolutely, that's sufficient for a person who is within themselves. Okay, a person who is...
I did not ask you if it was sufficient. I asked you, do you think it would be an enjoyable date for the woman?
Absolutely. For a mature woman, a woman who is not super impressed by modernity, where she thinks everything has to be presented to her that she's never had.
You don't like women.
I think... Shut up a minute, you rude person. What I'm saying is a mature woman would love that. She would love to have a walk and a talk with a person that was willing to do that, because that's the quote-unquote, that's the human experience. For example, I don't think it's a good idea at all for two people on a first date to go to a movie. A movie is auto-entertaining. What we want to determine is, can we entertain each other fundamentally? Oh. And if she doesn't like the man well enough to be with him in that way, then I say ipso facto, she doesn't like that man.
Can I please say something? It depends
I wish you wouldn't.
Shut up. It depends on the movie. Some movies inspire you to have a great conversation. Like Schindler's.
Absolutely.
But that wouldn't be for the first date.
It doesn't matter.
Letitia, wait a minute. Your name isn't Letitia.
Yeah, but
even from how you decide which movie to go see, and you can maybe determine something about the personality of the person, what type of movies they like. What interests them about that particular type of movie?
Letitia, my response is, and it remains, going to a movie or anything where the two people don't have an opportunity to really look eyeball to eyeball, knee to knee, and converse with each other is subordinate. It's not
you can do that after the movie and discuss the movie and learn more about the person through a discussion.
Hey, Letitia 2. I'm speaking to Letitia 1.
If you go on a walk in the park, just make sure she knows she's going on a walk in the park so she can wear something comfortable. That would probably
And
be
you're not looking at her eyeballs when you're walking next to her, lateral to her.
Balls, actually.
So here's the thing. I never really want to argue with people about how they choose to date, right? All I'm going to ask you is, at this point, is what's the percentage of women that you get a second date after just going for a walk in a park and some water and nothing else?
Well, okay, I said that's sort of a metaphor, but usually what I do, Letitia, is I go
He's going around the question. Answer the question.
Shut up, dingbat.
Stop lying. Tell the whole story, Solution.
Zero to 1%.
I prefer Letitia. Letitia, you can see some of the undesirables. They're really piling in. Okay, usually I personally go to a coffee shop. I prefer a coffee shop first date.
You are spending some money. You're just not, because it seems as if you didn't want to spend any type of money. So you are, because coffee shops
No. Money is really... Money is not
from Starbucks and getting the free
money.
Water
Hold on, ma'am. I know you're getting excited. It's a long time since
we've had this conversation, LeTisa, many times. He gets a free cup of water with a napkin from Starbucks, and that's what he gives to the lady.
You get to smell the coffee, though. You get to smell the coffee while you sit there.
And sip on
the
that
point is, LeTisa,
water
I usually go to a coffee. I usually go to a coffee shop. And you see these magpies, you see how difficult they make a regular conversation.
We've heard this for like years, LeTisa.
But
why don't you just be quiet then? You don't have to chime in. We're not asking for an orchestra.
Hold on, ladies. I get it. I get it. Y'all are familiar with him. I'm not. So please.
Well, I'm familiar with them. They're not familiar with me. I'm familiar with them.
Okay. Let him answer for himself.
Thank you.
So I can get a better understanding of what he is. What I'm. Because I'm trying to get an idea of who he is, but the only way I can get that is if he answers my questions for himself. So. Okay.
Now, the walk in the park is an excellent metaphor, and it is a good thing to do, by the way. In fact, there have been studies that have demonstrated that.
Okay.
However, with me personally, I said it's usually the coffee shop experience.
Okay, so what's the experience at the coffee shop? What are you doing? Paint a picture for me.
Well, like I say, usually the meetings that I have with the woman in terms of quote-unquote first dates, I don't really care for that name, but fine. They last about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And sometimes we choose, as a result of that interaction, to kind of date a little bit.
Yeah, right.
And unfortunately, nothing has worked out for long term, but the overall experience for the most part has been good. There've been no real bad experiences.
Are you just sitting there talking and drinking water?
Well, we're having a conversation. We're having an adult conversation, and I hope you don't diminish that. I mean, you're in the field, and you know that communication is the essence of a relationship, correct?
Communication is one of the principles you need for a sustaining relationship. It's one of the principles, okay?
But is it not the most important part of a healthy relationship?
No, compatibility is the most important part. You got to be compatible.
Okay, but how is compatibility demonstrated?
Through your core beliefs, your core values. Basically, compatibility is, do I like you enough to deal with the things I don't like about you?
But how are those values demonstrated? Is what I'm asking.
Values are demonstrated at the fact that, okay, you don't want to spend money on a coffee date, right? I mean, on a date, right?
So I didn't say that.
No, I'm giving you an example.
Go ahead. Sure.
Let's just say if you don't want to spend any money on a date, and she's okay with that. She's okay with that. She's still going to go on a date. She likes you enough to move forward to say, you know what, although this is not something I'm used to or something that, I prefer for a man to have a different dating style, but he doesn't spend money. Okay, so his values around being financially fiscal, that doesn't bother me. Although I like to spend, you know what I'm saying? I like my $5 macchiato, grande macchiato, but he's not going to be putting his coins out there like that. And she's okay with that. That's a sign of compatibility. If you're a registered Republican, she's a registered Democrat. That's a sign of, and she doesn't care. You don't care.
Now, I generally don't talk about politics on a first date.
I'm just giving examples. Like, you could be pro-choice and she's pro-life, vice versa, and it doesn't lead to conflict. It
Right,
doesn't become an issue. It doesn't have a problem. You're both enjoying who
Good
you
point.
are, and you both enjoy being together. That's compatibility. Chemistry is basically, we have the same interests. We have the same likes. That bonds us together. That makes me more sexually attracted to you and not just physically attracted to you.
All right, LeTisa, excuse me, ma'am. I think you danced around the issue of the fundamental importance of being able to communicate effectively. You kind of downplayed that, and I don't think that's appropriate.
I did not. If you are compatible with each other, you're going to learn to communicate with one another. The communication is because most people have a problem in their communication when they're trying to change something. There's a conflict, there's a problem, and usually it arises in, I don't like this about you, I don't like that about you, I don't like what you're doing here. And then there's a breakdown in communication. When you focus on being compatible, those arguments are going to be very few and far in between. Now, that's not to say you won't have any disagreements, but disagreements and arguments are not the same. Disagreements are, I don't like that, and the other person can acknowledge that, yes, you don't like that, but that person can say, I don't like that, but it's not a big deal. It's not a problem. So compatibility has communication built into it, essentially.
LeTisa, I have met, first of all, like a non-negotiable for me is, say, for example, if a woman is a smoker, I will not date a smoker, okay? Another thing that I found out in dating a number of professional women, now these are the women that I experienced. They were alcoholics, right? And now these women were recommended. I do have a dating service or a matchmaker, and but I'm just saying is that a lot of professional women tend to be, into addictive substances.
Okay, so you have a matchmaker. You told your matchmaker you don't want someone who is an alcoholic.
No, well, that goes without saying. But what I'm saying is, over the years, I shouldn't have conflated those two. I'm saying professional women, a lot of professional women, not necessarily ones that I've been matchmade to, they were into substance addiction, unfortunately.
And okay, so how do you determine a woman being an alcoholic?
She tells me.
So she tells you, I'm an alcoholic, or I've been in AA or NA?
She says something like, I have been on the wagon. They use this terminology, so forgive me if I don't get it precise, but something like, I haven't fallen off the wagon in such and such time. And, I'm just saying, I met several of these women, and it made an impression upon me by having met them. But these are usually... and I don't have a requirement for a woman's education, but I notice with highly educated women, there's certain baggage that comes with that.
Yep,
not to mention attitude.
That's successful men and women in general. Like, you're going to have a high propensity for alcoholism.
And I'm just talking about women. I'm just talking about women.
Highly driven, successful man. So let's talk about the women that you've had positive outcomes with.
Right.
What's the percentage that you've had positive outcomes with?
Well, it's been pretty low. I mean, I've had some good times, of course, and they say when the times are good, they're good, and when they're bad, they're not so good. But I've had memorable good times with exclusivity. When I'm just dating one woman, we've agreed to. And one of the things that I like to do is agree to be exclusive. Okay, I like at least a verbal commitment to being exclusive. And in those cases, for a while, it's been good.
Okay, then what makes it not good?
Well, if the fangs come out, if the real person as opposed to the representative comes out, and just, the argumentative nature. I found some people, I don't know if you've read the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, but it talks about that when some people get in a satisfying, in fact, let me just say this. I've had women to tell me, you're a good man, and these were women in a position to know. They were older women, roughly 40, but, I don't bring a lot of drama. Personally, with me, life behaves in a predictable way, and I make sure that it does, thank God. But a lot of people are, like I say again, addicted to drama. They want drama. I had one lady, for example, told me, and we were in a relationship. Early on, she told me, in essence, to stay out of her business. And, when a person asks me to do something that I can, I do. And I did. And later on, not 2 months later, same woman says to me, you don't care about me at all. And I said, well, what are you talking about? She says, well, you don't get involved in my, in the things that I'm doing. And I said, well, you asked me to stay out of it. What do you want? And sometimes, so you have situations like that. It's a little bit nuanced, but that's the gist of it. Some people don't know what they want. And going back to the book specifically, it says when a woman, it was talking about women, when they get in a relationship, all those things that were frozen, those bad things that were frozen in their psyche, tends to thaw out and cause problems for them. And so I think a lot of women, believe it or not, like men who bring a lot of drama.
Okay, but let's okay. So
do you acknowledge that, or how do you feel about that?
I don't even want to go there, because that leads us down the path of gender warring conversations. And
don't you think we have to get the truth on the table? Don't you think we have to get transparency? And if a woman is having a good relationship and interaction with a man, why should she mess it up? Why should she necessarily create conflict?
Why should she mess it up?
Because she already has it in her. You are just not seeing it, or you're not vetting properly enough to see it. So a woman who tells you from the very beginning that she doesn't want you in her business, right? Then you're going to take that as, all right, I'm going to say, no one really wants a partner to compartmentalize in that manner. No one. Relationships are about sharing your lives, your livelihoods together, engaging in the things and being interested in the things that we are passionate about. So
okay, do you believe a lot of people need therapy and haven't gotten it?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do, Solution.
Hey, look, sir, who would lay his coat that he doesn't have down in a puddle. Why are you not in a place where there are paved streets? Think about that.
Okay. But here's it. Okay. I'm trying not to get bogged down in you all's little situation that y'all know each other. Y'all have more information about each other. That's why a lot of the conversation tends to get sidetracked.
Well, they know each other. I don't know them.
No. Let's go.
I disavow any knowledge of him.
Man, let that woman speak, man. Goddamn.
Real quick.
You ask all these questions. Let her talk.
LeTisa, let's get the target right back. Remember, I brought this on the show during Gary's show about the napkin and the water and the first date when a person is wealthy and he's trying to seek a mate. That's where we were at. And I'm glad that you've been kind of laying it down layer by layer to where we at. And continue.
Well, just because a person is wealthy doesn't mean another person is entitled to it. That is that person's wealth. He shared how they see fit. You take your broke ass and you amass wealth for yourself, and then you determine how it's meted out. You don't determine how someone else's wealth is spent.
Excuse me, Miss LeTisa. Hey, Mama's boy. I think it's a test. I think this water thing is a test. If the woman passes the water test, then she might be lucky enough to continue on to the coffee test.
Now, let me say that absolutely it is a test. That's a good observation there for once. The thing of it is, no organization or even person allows you into their personal selves without you being on a probationary period. You don't just go in and enjoy the fruits just because a man is wealthy that you have some right to it. You don't. And you won't.
Okay, but no one is saying there's entitlement, a right to it. It's an expectation that you're asking a woman out. Now, I see if she asked you out, but you're asking a woman out. And what you can do over the phone is what you're choosing to do on a date. That's not what dates were designed for. They weren't. There is a protocol for dating. There is dating etiquette. Right? Dates usually are determined by your socioeconomic status, your financial status. Typically, men with more resources tend to give the better dates. I'm not saying that men with lesser resources can't give great dates, can't give great experiences. But when it comes to dating, courtship, men have always put their best foot forward because they're trying to elicit a yes from the woman. That's the
LeTisa, first of all, what you just said is absolutely false. And it's false because if you go back 60 years ago, maybe 70 years ago, when a man showed interest in a woman, she invited him to her home for a home-cooked meal because it was a transactional relationship. She wanted to demonstrate to him that she was a worthy wife, that she could prepare a meal and so on and so forth. And then and feed the family. And if everything worked out, then they went to church, which a lot of these atheists or so-called atheists don't even incorporate. But it was a communal type thing. And this was the American culture. This is the way it worked. It wasn't that the men, there weren't a whole lot of restaurants if you go back 70 years ago. All right? They proliferated. But the way you're describing history is revisionist in favor of the woman. She was the one that prepared the meal, not the man.
It wasn't about restaurants. This is about the man putting his best foot forward to solicit a yes based on whatever proposal he wants to throw out there. What you're describing is virgins who were at home, living at home with their parents, and it was a family thing, and the family was involved in the vetting. When it's like, okay, come home. She didn't cook that meal by herself. Mama, grandmama, and sisters, all of them were in the kitchen, and it's like, okay, I'm going to have this gentleman come to the home, and the family is going to vet him. Men are not up to that now, right? But for single women who did not live on their own, because not everyone lived up under that system, right? There are single women who lived on their own or who didn't have that value system. That's not how they courted. Dating has always been a more modern concept, no matter what era you lived in. There's a huge difference between a more traditional era, meaning back in the day, but there was always modernism. There was always people who moved outside of those traditional values, right? They were modern for that time. Dating in its concept is about two single people coming together, whether it was coffee, whether it was at a party, but that man would ask her out on a date, and he paid for it. He would take her for coffee, take her for a meal. Hold on, let me finish. He would take her for coffee, take her for a meal. I've known, my grandfather on my dad's side took my grandmother to a local festival. That was their date. You're believing that all women have this idea that you need to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on the first date, when the women are simply saying No, we just don't want you to treat us like you don't have any consideration or generosity for the female, for women.
Wait a minute. Please define that so I'll be clear on it. How is what I have said in any way contributing to what you just said?
The lack of generosity?
Generosity is me showing up, being there, being available. I mean, and especially, look, I don't a man shouldn't have to open up some treasure chest to a stray, strange woman. He doesn't know her. He doesn't know her.
I've shown up, and you can breathe the air I breathe, and that should be enough.
You are positing things, LeTisa, is as if the people have been in a relationship already. And that's what you're skipping over.
Okay.
You're also overlooking the human element for women to be cheats, to be counterfeits, to be schemers. A lot of women are that. And look, if we don't want to deal with the whole of the situation, we're just living in a fantasy world. And this is another thing that I would like to say. Women who hold the position that you are don't care about their sons. They throw their sons to the wolves. They know that there are women out there who will take advantage of their sons, but they don't care. It's all about the so-called womanhood. But what I'm saying to you, talking to a woman, having a conversation with her, being willing to meet with her is worth more than the so-called money you're talking about. It's easier for me to give a woman money than it is for me to give her my time. That's easy. I already have that. And most men do. Well, a lot of men do. But if she's not willing to be transparent and to show her value and showing up and having an adult conversation, then she's not worthy. You're attributing more worth to many women than they deserve. And that's a fair statement.
Because, so you said a lot there. Here's the thing. So it seems to me as if you don't want a woman to put forth a representative, but you put forth a representative, because either you're generous or you're not. Either you're considerate or you're not. Either you're kind or you're not. And people would put forth, and generosity is not you showing up and being just being there, right, being on time. Generosity means you are going above and beyond, right? And I'm not putting that all on just a man. Women need to be generous as well, but it's going to be different because we're women. But being considerate, the fact that you told me that this one woman that you were dating or was exclusive with, she told you to mind your business, right? Well, a generous man, a considerate man would have found a way to balance that. Ask questions as to what does that mean for you, right? That's what the vetting process is. When somebody says something, you break that down. You get in there and you dissect what was being said. That's also part of communication, is that, so I have a better understanding of what you mean. What do you mean when you tell me to stay out your business? Do you not want me to be a sounding board for you? Do you not want me to help you brainstorm? Do you not want me to come up with creative ideas for you? What does that mean? What does that entail? That way, moving forward, you would actually know how far to go and when to pull back. So she probably was putting up a wall out of fear, saying, I don't want you in my business, because some men probably try to get all up in the Kool-Aid and it caused problems. So now she's warding you off. But in the meantime, it's like you've completely shut yourself off from being considerate and moving in a capacity of generosity when it comes to something with her. And you said yourself, well, I didn't know. You told me to stay out your business. But you're up here saying that communication is key, but I'm not seeing an effective communicator here. I'm hearing someone who has a narrative, who has some ideals, has some beliefs, and is basically your way or the highway. Like, this is who you are, and someone has to accept that about you and there's no give and take. I could be wrong, but that's
you are wrong on that, but I appreciate you being open to it. You're definitely wrong, and it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But what I'm saying is, this is why it is so important to lay that foundation of communication initially in its bare essence. And like I said again, I don't think it's a good first date to do anything that is what I consider auto-entertaining. It takes effort to hold a conversation with the person. And the reason I didn't continue to hold a conversation with the person, look, I don't like a lot of drama. Now, I come over here from time to time because I know that that's all that's going to be here. But I listen more than I participate. But the point is that I think you need to be more open.
Mr. Solutions, you know you lying about not liking drama. Come on.
Wait a minute, sir. Hold on. I have another question I want to ask you.
You need to stop that.
Boy, how are you doing, sir? I have another question I want to ask.
I've been listening to you, man, and you kind of been like over talking her, but she kind of like got some words in. And
hold on, I'm trying to communicate.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. I just want to say this real quick. I see where she coming from, and I understand why you want to overtalk her.
Yeah.
Man, but you got to slow down just a little, man. Just a little. Let her speak, too. Now, you asked her like 50 questions, but you don't let her answer, you know?
Well, Mama's boy, I think you're like half listening. She's making her points very well. It's just that I don't agree with some of her points. Now, what I'm saying to her is laying the foundation of being able to communicate. Laying the foundation of being able to communicate.
Peace, family.
That's good, man. Here, seen you in a long time, bro. I don't think you're still tuning into my shows, man.
I listen. I just try to stay out of it, you know. But I had to say something this time, man. I mean, he don't like drama?
Oh, my God. Gary, you did it again. This is one of your better shows. I'm out.
I do.
Thank God. So I think you're underplaying this issue of money, and I think it would be nice for women to say what their real intentions are, because there are a lot of hidden intentions that you're talking about. But
you're afraid of.
I think a mature woman would very much appreciate having this kind of conversation that I'm talking about. Now, most women who are looking to get the bag, and I'm sure you've heard that terminology, or trying to level up, and maybe you could explain that to me a little bit more. They are interested in the free meal. Everything is about what they can get tangibly. It's not about the intangibles, and that's what I'm talking about primarily.
Okay, but that's not the majority of women, especially modern women, right? So why are you focused on a smaller segment of the population that mostly exists on social media?
Yep.
Well, I would think, look, this may be intractable, LeTisa.
You're right,
because there are more people
modern
that
women
are single.
do not want to waste their time. They're busy. They don't want to waste their time
that are
spending with someone
today,
they don't like.
There are more
not
people that are single
with.
in America than ever before than are married, actually. There has been a real breakdown in male-female communication in America. So I think we have to acknowledge that. And all of us are going to feel the fallout of that reality.
We won't live long enough, so don't worry about it.
Well, Mr. Solutions, I mean, just in your description this evening, I'm imagining that you probably confused the woman when you asked her out on a date, but you're acting funky about the water. How in the hell you going to ask me out, but then you want to be a miser about everything that goes on the date? Are you really wanting to date me? You probably confusing the fuck out of motherfucking people. You know,
Mama's boy, if you finish, I think you should sit back and listen a little bit more, because that really never comes up in my conversation. Now we're talking about it here, but that doesn't even arise in the conversation. Because this conversation is a little bit antagonistic.
On a blind date with this. Well, I met this man.
Well, why don't you talk about yours? Miss Lady, you're a very mouthy woman.
I could tell immediately it was not going to work, but he was very excited about the date and insisted on going to this nearby restaurant, which we had planned to go to, because I was going to oh, Lord. I ordered one of the cheapest things I could order on the menu that would be the fastest to put on the table so that I would not give him any ideas. I ate it as fast as I could, and I got up out of there. Okay? Nobody wants to waste their time.
Wait a minute. I didn't hear all of that scenario.
It had nothing to do with you. I mean,
I know it didn't have anything to do with me, Mama's boy.
You stand alone, head and shoulders above a lot of men. I will tell you that, Mr. Solution. You stand head because, look, I'm old school too. And if a girl asks a guy out for a date, that means she's paid. If a guy asks a girl out for a date, that means he's paid. If a mutual friend puts you two together and y'all agree on a date, you might be going, hey, we'll see when we get there. But the shit that you talking about, you 1870. Because that don't make no sense.
Wait a minute, Mama's boy. You're very rude, okay?
Let me finish.
But if you're going to talk to me, you're not going to be rude.
Let me finish. If you let me finish, you'll be able to go.
Refer to me then.
Let me finish.
Don't refer to me. Just talk about your experience.
Will you just listen, brother?
And we're not brothers, by the way.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you, sir. So, to insinuate that you are owed something just to ask them out, they are fucking supposed to be there. That's some Fonzie shit, nigga, 1960 shit.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, so what I'm going to ask
you sound really stupid if that's the way you ask.
You respect not to refer to me, refer to your own experiences, okay? If they are even worthy of sharing.
Hey, you put your shit out here in the airways, and now you don't want
I ask you not to refer to me.
Get the fuck up.
Okay, go back in your cave and be the savage that you
actually learn something from somebody else.
Central Park. I mean, what if the hot dog man passes by and the hot dogs are $5, Mr. Solutions?
Don't eat that crap.
Offer a hot dog? Are you going to offer a hot dog or shish kebab? Let's say they got shish kebabs, and you just so happen to, again, you got your water, you got your napkin, you bought a water, you got a water, you walk by, you smell that shish kebab. Do you offer her a shish kebab?
I don't know. From what I heard, she should be happy to be out in the same area where the shish kebab smell was.
Breathing the shish kebab air together.
LeTisa, I'm going to say this. Now, you hear all these motor-mouthy, both men and women. Were a woman to call in and ask them about a legitimate problem that she had in dating, they would be absolutely agnostic. They would be completely ignorant. Because all they do is shoot shots and throw games and play games. They're not serious about anything. And one of the reasons I come over here is for the comedy. Sure, it's brutal. It's brutal comedy, but it's comedy.
Thank you for the comedy, Misty. Thank you. You have provided it today.
See what? Okay. Now, I said I'm going to limit myself regarding you. I've asked you to go and have coital relationships with your husband.
I already did that. I took a shower and everything. I washed out my weave. I'm good. Thank you.
But he did.
Hey, LeTisa.
Hold on, man. Hold on. She was talking. Goddamn. Hold on.
Willie Earl is happy. Willie Earl has fallen asleep in his rocking chair. Thank you too much.
It's worthy of taking a shower after this experience, trust me.
But that was a good question. If you're out walking, because I can only imagine the energy you're expending while walking, and the shish kebab part, or you walk past the guy that's selling the pretzels and the shish kebab, are you going to offer her something from that cart?
The situation, LeTisa, is a fluid one. I'm just saying, as I said earlier, my primary interest is to get to know the person. That usually doesn't happen, but just like you, and just like most people, I interact with and do the appropriate thing. It's a fluid situation. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
I'm not going to buy into this BS because a lot of people that are talking are without relationships, or their relationships are just, they're very ragged. Their relationships are horrible. And the only thing they can do is just try, and that's okay. They try to use me as a whipping boy. They try to beat up me, but I have broad shoulders, but I know their conditions. And their hold on,
I didn't
mamas.
expect you to answer that, though. I'm giving you credit. I didn't
their
expect you to
conditions are horrible. And so all they can do is just kind of try and pile on and denigrate me. But
no, we pretty used to you over here, bro. Don't act like you brand new over here, niggas.
Well, look here. I'm saying, Savage, go back in your hole and stay there. This guy has been in jail.
Okay.
More than you can count the days on the calendar.
How long you been calling in the Tyrone show? Let's just put it out on the table.
Mama's boy, this is a loser.
Let's put it out on the table, Mr. Solution. Since you want to act so pompous,
type guy.
You want to stand up on your soapbox and act pompous. Tell everybody how long you've been talking to Tyrone.
He has money. Maybe he will spend all his little pocket change on something.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you've been annoying for quite a while. Stop.
Let me say this. I really don't like your character.
I don't care, man. Stop talking.
I think you have horrible character. And I think you've recently been in jail. I think.
Hold on. That don't even matter. That's irrelevant to the question LeTisa asked you.
You're going to go to jail again. And I know you know a lot about being incarcerated also, Jay, from New York.
Let the lady say what she came to say.
These are the kind of people that I'm dealing with.
Listen, but one thing, hold on. How about this? Let's clarify this. If you was in a cell with me and Mama's boy, you probably won't survive. And we would survive.
Okay, now notice what a savage he is. Just
that's okay. At least we could survive in savagery areas. How about that?
Why don't you guys co-author a book on how not to be shot by the police and how to survive being incarcerated?
Answer LeTisha's question.
You guys should write a book on that. You'll probably be in jail again.
That's the reason why he's avoiding it, man.
The reason you spend time in jail is because you're broke. You're non-productive losers.
Gigi, you can
talk. Let me talk. I think Miss LeTisa has cut too close on Mr. Solutions, and now he's trying to deflect.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about. She hasn't cut close on. I mean, we're just having a conversation.
I was trying to give him credit, but I guess
if you're talking about what LeTisa is saying hasn't bothered me in a negative way.
Mhm. It's just too close.
One more question.
Yeah, you can keep saying that, woman, because you're dumb. You're dumb on this issue.
Perhaps.
I have one more question.
I'm trying to hear the damn.
Not perhaps, for sure.
I'm trying to hear her, man.
Mr. Solutions, let her speak, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to hear her, Doc.
Well, you all let her speak. If you all would shut up, the conversation could continue.
Tonight. Go ahead.
Okay. You said that you value communication. Do you think that you're an effective communicator?
Charlie, you're talking like an asshole.
Yeah, I'm here. If you go ahead.
Do you believe that do you think that you're an effective communicator?
Well, what do you think?
No, I'm asking you, how do you see yourself?
I've communicated fundamental points of communication to you and of having an effective relationship. I mentioned the stimulus, value, and role are qualities of a relationship. And I mentioned many other things certainly from a male and from a fair point of view from a man. See, for most men, you don't get a real fair expression. They don't really talk about this. Relationships are not really discussed that much. They're just done and done badly, okay? And so I've been communicating transparent ideas with you of what I want, what I look for, just some basic things. So you have to make that determination. And over here, it's all about being funny, playing games, and just BSing. This is a very adolescent forum.
Okay, but I'm asking you, do you see yourself, do you think that you're an effective communicator?
Well, what I'll do, I'm a successful man, so I'll let you be the judge of that. I'll let you be the judge of that, and you judge it however you see fit.
But that's not the question I'm asking you.
Well, I know what your question is, but I've given you the evidence. So I've given you enough evidence to discern the question that you're asking.
Okay, no.
Mr. Solution, stop. Mr. Solution, see, the problem with us as people, we're not being honest about answering a question, yes, no. There should not be long with us. This is the issue like dudes in the fucking space. And I'll be around listening to say when women ask, when men ask a question and they give the same response. Let's be men and let's give a yes or no. We gotta be logical and give a simple answer. Let's not try to be like these fucking females, please. Thank you.
Well, let me put it this way. Me answering her yes or no is not going to do a damn thing. She has heard me communicate. If she can't decipher how well I communicate from my having communicated, then my giving her a yes or no answer is not going to do a damn thing.
Let her decide if it's going to do something or not.
Well, she already gave him the reason. She said she wanted to know his point of view of whether or not
do it.
It's not whether or not she thinks you are. It's what you think of yourself. You dumb about the communication ability.
Okay. Listen to the asshole. Look, I should be in jail, mama's boy. Yes, I think your ass should be in jail, if not prison.
Obviously, he knows he's not a good communicator. That's why he won't answer the question.
That's probably why he not going to give you no answer. He going to kick the table like a petulant child.
He not going to give you no answer. Oh, wow. That's a clear
statement. Confusing, and I almost feel bad for some men when they try to figure it out.
And I said, you deaf bastard. You need to put
LeTisa, what I ask you to do, if you ever will, listen in to this adolescent.
A little closer to the phone.
Listen in to this adolescent.
You deaf ass old man.
To determine how well they communicate with each other and with other people.
A really good female
friend. This is really not a good place to communicate right here with these people.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know. I didn't sleep.
That because I think that if you're an effective communicator, part of effective communication is about conflict resolution. And if you're an effective communicator, you can communicate with anybody essentially. When it's a chaotic situation, you're immediately going to engage in how to resolve the conflict. So there is a conflict here, and the conflict is based on your personal understanding of each other, which I'm not privy to because this is my first time hearing all of you. But if you know, so you can communicate effectively in any situation. So I have to just give you pushback on that. But I will say that the type of woman that would be interested in you, she is a unicorn, right? You're going to have to focus, and I know this is unsolicited advice, and normally I don't really give unsolicited advice, but I'm just going to say that men who are that particular will have to focus less on other things, especially superficial things, and focus more on character. Because the thing about today is people are trying to have it all. You cannot have it all. You cannot have everything. You're going to have to figure out what's most important to you. Character, values, looks, all those other things. What's most important to you? Pick one, and then everything else can be worked out. So for you, it seems as if character, her being of good character, is essential, but you're trying to get good character in a great body, with all this other stuff. You're going to have to focus first on character. And the type of dating style that you enjoy, how you go about vetting women, you're going to have to accept the women who are receptive to that. You're not going to be able to force women to accept that. Just like women are not going to be able to force you to change, right? You are you. They are they. A majority of women, a good 99.9% of the female population, is not okay with that dating style. So you're going to have to be accepting.
Okay, wait a minute. Before you go on, could you define the dating style specifically that you're talking about?
A bottle
what
of water on the first date and a napkin. That's what
okay, I didn't ask you because you don't know.
LeTisa, how likely is he to get a woman that's in great shape?
LeTisa, now what do you think about a woman like this that interrupts?
That's attractive,
would you give your
intelligent, that has great character, that he seems to like a submissive type woman, but who's intelligent? How likely is he to inspire that woman to want to get to know him after having a first date consisting of water?
He doesn't want a submissive woman. He wants a woman to beat his ass.
Probably.
LeTisa, after these clowns have finished, if you remember your question.
Behind closed doors, he does.
He wants a leather coat,
high boots, and a whip, okay?
And some spice.
And to put and to tie him up, okay?
Exactly. That's what he wants. You want to get punished, Solutions, because you've been a bad boy and you know it.
Tisha, let me just say this. They can disrespect you as much as they choose.
Sorry, Miss LeTisa.
I don't feel I was disrespected. I just think this is
well, maybe you want to be in league with them, but okay. What I'm saying is what specifically are you saying that's so rare about what I'm requesting? And I have one other question for you, LeTisa. Are you familiar with the men of all ethnicities that are going to other countries to find more of what they're looking for in a woman, particularly cooperation?
Okay, let me answer the first question.
Don't do it, lady. Lady, don't say it. Let her say it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, LeTisa.
Your dating style in that you're not exhibiting any type of generosity or consideration.
Of spirit.
So women are looking for that. And you just don't have it in you. You just want to focus on having a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that, but you can do that for a period of time and then take her on a nice date. And you figure out ahead of time if whether or not this woman is worthy of you spending any money on her instead of taking her on a date, and then it's like y'all are just talking. I get it, you're saying it's fluid, but then that means there are some women who aren't going to get the pretzel or the shish kebab or something. One little thing can spark, and you're looking at her like, yeah, you're not deserving of a shish kebab, whereas a date is still supposed to be generous. So like me, when I go on a first date, when I go on a date,
even if I'm not into the guy, I'm like, okay, I'm still going to be very kind and considerate and attentive, because that's just the person that I am. I don't change and switch up based on who I'm with. I think all people are deserving of respect when I'm in their presence. And then when I'm, if it's not going to work out, then I'm going to let you know this is not for me. We're not suited for each other. So I think that your dating style, how you try to move and go about dating, 99.99% of women are not going to have an appreciation for that, especially attractive women. You have to that attractive women are still higher. Ask yourself, what about me is going to get her to say yes? Your money with a modern woman is not enough. Personality has to be a factor. Your character has to be a factor. So those are mere things. So the type of woman that's going to say yes a second time to you, those are women who are very, very few and far in between, and you're going to have to focus on just trying to make one of those women your wife. She may not come in a wife. She may not come in a package that you desire. Like, it's trade-offs. Like, there's just something you're going to have to say, okay, I can't have it all, but what's most important to me? And it seems as if communication is very important to you. Well, if that's very important to you, then that should be the biggest factor. And if she meets that bar, then everything else can be worked on for the most part. Since that seems like
and LeTisa, it doesn't even matter if the man is wealthy or not. If he's not generous, and if he's not spending it to have a good time with the person, it doesn't matter. He could be, broke. It doesn't really matter.
Harvey Weinstein.
Money if you're not going to be generous with the person you're going to essentially be in a relationship with. And the date shows if you are a generous man or not. I don't think men understand that, but women are checking for that subconsciously. Women should be checking for that because inherently women want generous, considerate men. And if you are being stingy or Scrooge McDuck with the first date, that's a sign that you're not likely to be very generous. Not saying you won't do anything, but the level of generosity that she's looking for and she's expecting is probably not going to be there. So that would be something of a red flag, is lack of generosity on the first date.
Can I say something? I think that women don't mind a guy that's broke, but we have a problem with a guy that's cheap. If you tell her before you meet that, my pockets are kind of empty and I don't have a lot, but I like to spend time with you, then I think she can.
It's situational. Because people go through things in life,
Right. She might even treat you, but if you show up and you're looking around and you're counting your pennies and looking at her, and no, that's not cool.
Right.
First of all, nobody said
when you make a point to tell people that
it's probably wrong for me to talk about
and I'm very successful.
Probably wrong for me to talk about
non-generous.
Hold up,
worse.
Okay.
That's a lot worse.
I want to try to help Mr. Solutions. That was what.
It was only the argument that she put forth.
Seems to be what the project was. Everybody's trying to help Mr.
Excuse me, Mama's boy. I'm responding.
Hold up real quick. They brought up a really good point about, she did. She brought up a really good point about the type of woman that you probably don't need to look for. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking of the type of woman that you might need to look for is someone who's going to want to do things for you to get the money out of you or get the generosity out of you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It seems like you would move more with that type of female or spouse or whatever you're looking for, partner or something. And you probably lean
towards an example, Mama's boy? I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't understand.
Okay. I would say the date would be like, she would probably even wear something that would maybe get him to spend some money. So it would probably be some maybe tight, low cut dress or something, and no panty type of thing, you know what I'm saying? All dolled up, all done up, and when y'all sit down, and you don't have to pull out the seat for her because she pulled the seat out for you, type of thing.
Exactly.
To be the woman that they're out.
Wait a minute. Let me respond to that. Now, Mama's boy, I think that is, now whether you're bullshitting or not, because you're an ace coon.
What, man? Come on. Stop that.
Okay, hold on. I do think that is a pretty insightful statement. I think that's the most insightful statement you've made thus far. I do. Now, going to what Gigi said, what Gigi said applies only to her.
No, it's not.
She gave this hyperbolic, really stupid example of her interpretation, which doesn't any situation that I have ever been in, ever. Now, what she said was profoundly stupid.
What did I say? You're not going to hurt my feelings, and you're not going to deflect. But what did I say?
I don't care about hurting your feelings per se. I'm just saying the example that you just gave about counting pennies and all that bullshit was just that, bullshit.
Don't get upset. What I'm trying to say is we can make adjustments if the guy doesn't have,
Simply saying to you, the argument that you brought up had nothing to do with this situation or me. That's you and you alone.
Right. I think that Mr. Solution needs a really, really good...
Well, why don't you talk about more of what you need? I don't really care. Let me just say this, Gigi, and I love you as best you can, a beast. But I don't really care what you think.
I think that you had a good friend.
I don't care what you think, Gigi.
Not to date. Because I'll tell my business. You don't mind if I tell my business, Miss?
Don't give a damn about you telling your business.
Thank you, Mr. I was afraid. Believe it or not, as wonderful as I may seem to be to my audience, I was afraid of guys. I was into sports and all of the good stuff when I was in junior high school. But when I started developing, I felt like I lost my friends. I thought were my friends, and we could play catch and run and jump and laugh, and life was great. But once I developed over one summer, which is traumatic for me, and I came outside, it was they would give you this weird look and saying weird things, and I felt like I lost all my friends, male friends, in one summer. So I always was kind of intimidated by guys. I liked them, but I couldn't understand the boundaries, and the relationship had completely changed from being one of their buddies or their little sister to, somebody they want to bang. So it was all my life I was kind of nervous about guys. I'm not particularly shy, but I just didn't know, and I didn't get over it until I became a cop. And then I was like submersed in all of this male testosterone nonsense and macho stuff that I just got over it one day. It was just like, well, this is what you signed up for, so this is what you're going to have to do. And and this is the last point, and that's why I love TRS so much, I think, because we have so many guys here with all different personalities and senses of humor and opinions, and I think that this place makes me feel like I'm back at work, which I miss the camaraderie. So I am done. Should I not have said that?
No, you did good, Gigi. I just hope I helped you out, Mr. Solutions. Maybe you need to,
I think it's more when they're out walking and she offers him the cotton candy or the pretzel.
Right, and feeds it to him.
She has, I wouldn't say feed it to him, she just has no expectations of him. She has no expectations other than they're going to just enjoy each other's company.
Well, sis, I differ with you slightly, and I think it's just eras. You're speaking of a modern era. I'm talking Mr. Solutions. He more like Game of Thrones type of dating. I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. She should be honored that he was the one that asked her out for a date. So she's going to bow and curtsy to this nigga like he's some fucking king in order to even get his willy hard. You understand? So yeah. that is a very bad issue. You see what I'm saying? Because he ain't going to want to spend $1 on her if his willy don't come up.
So listen, you are right. There is a phenomenon that tends to happen with women, right? With certain women. They initiate, meaning they approach the man, they even ask the man out, but then once the man says yes, they want him to flip and turn.
Right.
Acting like the man, right? When she was moving like the male. I think with Mr. Solutions is that although he's asking the woman out, he has this, he understands equality benefits him. Equality benefits him. So, okay, whether I truly inherently accept it or not, believe it or not, you're saying this, okay, it benefits me in the end. So now I asked you out, but we're equal. So now the tables have turned where I don't want you to have any expectations of me on this date. I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to have a conversation with you. The woman who is going to get him to become more generous, which I really don't, is going to be that woman who, when they're walking and the pretzel cart is there and she's like, hey, you want a pretzel? and he'll say yeah, and she's offering to, and she buys it for him. Or when they go to a door, she opens the door for him with no problem. Or she's opening the doors for herself. She's pulling the door out for herself. The woman who on a date offers to pay, that is the woman that's going to get his soldier to rise.
Oh my.
Miss LeTisa, let me tell you this.
There's
a role reversal you're talking about. He wants to be in the more feminine position, and he wants the woman to take the more masculine position.
Do it, Miss Lady.
Miss LeTisa, I don't know if you forgot or what, but I would like for you to respond to the question I asked you earlier about the many men and growing number of men that are seeking relationships extra the U.S. They're going outside of the U.S. They're going to
they're going to Africa. They're going to the
Philippines. They're going to Europe. They're going to the West Indies. They're going to Brazil. In other words, they're seeking a different type of woman attitudinally. Now, the hardware in women everywhere is very similar. But it's the software that's problematic. So what do you think about the men, younger men of all ethnicities, and some middle-aged men? They're going outside the U.S. seeking women. Were you aware of that, and what do you think about it?
Very small.
Yes, I am aware of it. I don't really have any thoughts on it. I don't care as long as you're getting the results you want. However, I will say that this idealistic view of women outside of outside of the West is different is not true. Women are inherently women. You have systems in place to force those women to be more submissive, and basically they're subjugated. So by laws, by their societies that they live up under, those women are forced to be that way. So once you get them back here to America and they don't have to be forced to be that way, they're naturally going to want to assert a lot more of their autonomy and independence. It's something they've never experienced. These women are not just conditioned this way based on their heart. They're, for the most part, conditioned this way based on how the men have engineered society. The men themselves of these countries are complaining about the women. I don't care if they're Arab. I don't care if they're Muslim. I don't care if they're Spanish. Even white men are now complaining how much feminism has touched their societies now. These women are now wanting to have more autonomy and more rights. Now, you said that you want a woman to have a lot more autonomy. So I'm confused, because if men are wanting women to have autonomy, then you should be comfortable with a woman who is independent. A woman who is comfortable with and settled in her autonomy and independent is not going to submit. She's just not. Submission is, and by the way, fellas, submission is for husbands only. So if you're not presenting yourself as a husband during the dating phase, she does not owe you submission. So,
well, wait a minute. Isn't that a contradiction? You want the benefits of a man, of a husband, from a man that you're just meeting, but then you say the women don't want to be expressive of the benefits of a wife in their first meeting.
How are you paying for the first date?
Well, I'm not. First of all, let's just say I'm not. As a general rule, I don't think that that's true. I don't think women deserve it, and I think women have disearned
Here
it.
we are going to square one with the
We're from New York. Shut up a minute. We don't even know your damn relationship. You may be in a relationship with another man.
Listen, we don't even know if you got that water from one of them, the no brand, Kirkland.
LeTisa, my point is this. There's a real breakdown in the relationship structure between men and women. Now, it may be just necessary for us to fight it out, which probably is the case. But I'm telling you, with this new modern woman and her independence, off the pot of this so-called traditionalism, because she's not traditional. You're not traditional. Most what you are
interrupted her before she could finish her. What
you are is demanding and entitled.
You interrupted her. What she was, I think, trying to say is that paying for a first date there's no equivalency with being a provider like a husband would provide.
Horse's ass. Shut up.
But here's the thing.
No, I'm not going to.
Not nice,
you're the only horse's ass here.
The horse's ass. I don't give a damn what anybody says. This lady is not a lady.
About what you say.
The horses.
You're saying.
This is when you call get the
I'm sure everything you say is absolutely true and correct, Mr. Solution.
Listen,
you're perfect.
Listen, you remind me of the brother from Amen. Come on, you got to act like him, right? Reuben Gregory. Chill out.
Let me tell you, a bitch-made man is such as you from Jay from New York. You never have a damn thing to
Letitia. I swear,
of a woman.
It's entertaining. It is.
On your face, and you would think it was raining.
I love Amen. Back off on
the light, heaven, Lord. Come on, you know the word. Shine
on me.
Like,
come on.
Jay from New York, you're a human lapdog.
Oh, Lord.
But back to what I was saying is that most women are modern. But what I don't understand is men who think like this and talk like this, they're not really engaging. It's weird because most women are modern. Most women, because you're modern, you are very modern. So your perfect counterpart would be a modern woman who is independent, has her autonomy. But what, you think that she's going to just change into being who you want her to be, and she's going to follow your direction and your lead?
Well, let me say this: given the divorce rate, probably not, and the lack of relationships, probably not. So much of this, if nobody is going to change, much of it is much to do about not a damn thing.
Okay, so then if you recognize that they're not going to change, then what is there to complain about? Like,
we're just talking. What are you talking about? I'm just having a conversation.
Well, just that
I'm having a conversation from my perspective.
That type of male has a very. Can I say this real quick? This is just my thought process. I'm a '70s baby, so I got to watch a lot of these dudes grow up. okay, and that their type of male is not wanted anymore. It's like they're skeletons because it's the old school, Bewitched, Darren, Beaver Cleaver as daddy, that goes and controls everything that goes on. Men are not lion tamers anymore. Where you got this powerful woman that can go out and take over the world and run a fucking department and then come home and lay down like an animal to your feet and shit. No, that shit is over. Them days over. Ain't no women don't exist like that anymore, man. And you just listening to a dying breed wailing out in the pasture. Because the motherfuckers just, they gone. They're not going to change. So they just going to lay out there and die because ain't no woman. No. Maybe someone you can purchase, but a woman that's about her business and
Well, Mama, let me ask you a question. Since you like to talk about shit. You're not going to find no woman. That woman don't exist no more. Are you married in and out of jail, or have you ever been married? Are you married now, or have you ever been married?
Listen,
all you do is bang on me. Let's talk about your sorry carcass. Are you married, or have you ever been married?
Oh, man. There you
Here's
go.
the thing. This is the type of woman they want.
No answer. You see what I'm saying? These guys are full of crap.
Listen. We getting a treat. Let LeTisa speak. Come on.
This is the type of woman they want, but women are rejecting. That woman who works hard, works just as many hours as him, and yet she makes all the decisions. And she's doing majority of the cooking and the cleaning and the child rearing. And he just to come home, put his feet up, she brings him his meal, and then she's sexually available to him. Women are outright rejecting that. If you want that, they're saying, if you want that type of dynamic, that type of setup, then I need to be at home. If you want me to work, then you're not getting all that. You're going to have to cook. You're going to have to clean, too. You're going to have to take care of these kids. You're going to have to figure this out together. It is no longer going to be based in gender roles. But these men still want to have these. They like these successful women. They like these driven, ambitious women, but they still want these women to adhere to gender roles. And they are rejecting it. And that's the problem.
LeTisa, first of all, I don't think that many women are really financially successful.
It doesn't have to be.
Listen, stop.
I have met some of these professional women, and when you incorporate their student loans, all the worthless degrees they've gotten, and all the debt they have acquired, along with their profligate lifestyle.
Let Gary go, please.
Yeah, he's the one that brought her here. Come on.
I got you now. Now, LeTisa asks you simple questions, and you go all over the place. Now, you ask her a question, and she gives you the same energy. You're up here complaining about it. Because, I'm noticing a lot of you niggas. Y'all one-sided. Y'all want only a woman to ask a question, and a woman asks you either simple or maybe a complex question. It's like, no, just give her a simple question. Now, mind you, I'm not entertaining certain space, but it's getting redundant and really ludicrous at this point. You get me? Now, she put up a good point. Now, if you want all that shit, you better be paying maybe 120% of everything. And so when they talk about these over 6 and probably 7, 8 figures, that's when you probably go entitled. You tell us that you stay home, you do this, that's the thing. And of course, anything less than that, and let's be honest, there's not much Americans that are going to get to over 6 figures. Now let's say maybe the state 7 figures, because 6 figures is dead with the economy and way how things are going.
In New York, it is.
You're going to have to be a millionaire or more over just to have a dictate. And even that is no secure because this country dictates everything. So you can't move in free as you want.
One medical bill. One medical bill will knock you out.
No, not medical. I'm talking about things that these men asking for. To sit on your ass, you work, you sit as an inspect everything while this woman is doing probably some or maybe more. you are insane. And this is why LeTisa is explaining, any woman that you hear been talking about, as they can't do it. And we all know as men that women can't do everything. So we got to stop the cap. So you got to make a decision what the hell you want and go at it. And
marriage benefits men more than women, actually. If you look at the average salary of men,
I'm not focusing on what these dudes are fucking asking for. They want
the woman to work 3 jobs and they work 1.
I'm not done. That these dudes are asking for all this. They're asking for all this. But notice the woman has to go out there the same amount of hours and do all this. That is insane at this point. Because no one's going to do it. Y'all niggas are hers ready. They say if you want that, you better make a decision. I might as well not go get work. I might as well do all the same little work that most of our grandparents do, and you do all and bring everything. You get me? Cover everything. No complaints. And it has to be and even more. To have what you want or what you seek for, you better be a millionaire at this point. I'm not talking about no 6 figures. 6 figures is garbage in all states. That 6 figures is just to get you to do it. But if you're talking about all that, you better be 7 figures. I'm just keeping it real.
Gary, if both people are making 6 figures...
I'm here, Mike, so we can have this conversation.
If both people, if the husband and the wife each are making 6 figures, they can make it. But... or if you're living in certain states where the cost of living is a lot less. But if you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, you're in trouble.
Well,
and you could afford a nanny. You could afford a nanny.
Everybody works, and you know this. You're aware of this, correct? Everybody works now. You get me? And we all make our way through this environment, this uncertain environment. So for a man asking for all this, and listen, I have many guests, and you listen to my content enough times, and I hear the same argument over. And it sounds nice. It's luxury. But overall, we deal with reality that don't expect all that and think that you're going to get all that once you're home and then everything well done. You don't got no superwoman up here. You get me? And the woman tells you we're not. And much like they say they are, they're not. So what are you going to do now? Unless you're going to have the full amount of money, which is the millionaire status, not another 6 figures. I'm always using the same millionaire because that is actually the cushion, the actual cushion. You need to shut the fuck up at this point. Because now it's going back and forth. You're not even answering the woman's questions. Well, you sure want to ask questions and say, this is what I'm doing. No, you don't got it like that. If you had it like that and you had the social skills, there should not be no fucking argument. Dinner dates. Who gives a fuck about dinner dates? You like to go, you take out, and then you give a good time. If she don't give a pussy, all right, next.
Right? Come on, Gary.
Damn, even Gary had to say that. Damn. Teaching Mr. Solutions a lesson.
No, let me just say this. What Gary just said is stupid. And let me say...
Come on, why shoot it down, Mr. Solutions? Give him
I've been hearing dinner dates recently, and it's the biggest issue. So, all right, these women are proven, even with, let's just say, back old days, that they would sit there and dudes were going on dates, give women a good time, and maybe sometimes they get some pussy. But that's not the case when we're here and talk about. But you want a guarantee where you go spend your money, you probably get some for less. And I'm saying you don't have to spend the bank, but you have to make it appealing, worthwhile, that maybe the possibility of so-called sex, if that's what you're looking for. If that's what you're looking for. But other than that, you might as well upfront and honest. That's how you eliminate the dinner date.
I know what doesn't really want it. He just wants to give her a test that she can't pass, so that he can.
Gary, I see you, little bitch. You're the only one that I'm the only one that you're muting.
Hey, come on,
I'm trying to lay out the thing. I don't want to know back and forth right now.
Were you muted?
Yeah, that little jerk muted me. But what I'm saying is, if you get any group of successful men, if you get any group of successful men together and women, you'll see that men are the most reasonable and the women are the most unreasonable.
And you still can't live without us.
Well, we try.
Well, if you listen to a lot of folks on these shows, I'm not sure about that, Mr. Solution.
Well, you're not being sure of something, Mr. Not an accurate indicator of anything.
They're also going to find a lot of
right.
aren't reasonable. I'm sorry, but I have never, ever had a man move with me the way that you're talking.
And how is that exactly? Can you be specific?
Finish.
Don't do it. Don't do it, LeTisa. Think about it.
No, let her do it. Leave her alone.
Oh, guys, let's speak because she's very low. So
these men, when they're out with their friends, when they're out in groups, they sit there and they argue about who's going to pay the check. Like not. I'm not paying it. It's no, I got this. Even the dude who makes the most money has to argue with the dudes who make less than him about, let me get this guy. No.
Right.
I've never been around a successful man who is not just, and they don't move in this fear that women are taking advantage of them because they know they can't be taken advantage of. They know the deal. They know that certain women are there for a short term. They're there for just for fun. They're going to pay that cost. And then they know the ones who are long term, they're going to deal with them in a certain way. So there's not this fear aspect because they have accepted and understand that some women, when it's about money, it's because they have it and these women want it, it's going to be transactional. So for them, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to get out? You want something from me, so I'm going to get something from you in return. So all this fear of testing during dating and no, I see this amongst a certain type of men, and it's no.
Let me say this, if I may. LeTisa, I don't know if you have any background in finance, okay? But I'm going to show what Gary said just a moment ago is profoundly and inherently nonsensical.
You know, I've never seen it either, LeTisa. Nobody I've known has ever talked about men just
cut me off. I was speaking. I am speaking. What I'm saying is this. You go to any financial advisor where you're having budgetary problems, and most people are, we're in a recession, they will say to you, the first thing you do is cut out non-essential expenses like going out. And where Gary just said, a man just willy-nilly takes a woman out, and if it doesn't transpire into anything, he just moves on to another. I can guarantee you, now I have no debt. Personally, I have zero debt. Zero. But I can guarantee you a man like Gary is broke.
What? And solutions? Because he hurts your feelings. Come on.
And he's...
You know, Mr. Solutions, you're always talking about how wealthy you are,
and you're
and how successful you are, and you're always wanting to target these men and call them broke and you. What's wrong with you, Mr.
Yeah, he's even done it to me, but you know what's the crazy shit? I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you I'm broke. I'm not rich. Yes, I don't have money. Yes,
but
I
mean,
hold in my
it's
pocket.
like,
but this is the point. This is the point, Jay from New York, and I want to be
air of superiority.
Hold on a minute. I want to be very clarion in my speech. You admit that you're broke. At the same,
one piece of pussy.
But at the same time, you want to spend other folks' money. You don't have the right.
No, hold on. Other folks' money.
You hold on. Get some money of your own, and then you'll see how it feels.
Hold on. Listen. When I work and I spend my money, I spend my own money. Right? It's okay. I might not be wealthy like you, but at least I know I'm gonna make that money back, Mr. Solutions, and I'm not spending my rent money. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Look here. Jay from New York, look. You and I are usually pretty good. I even like Mama's boy. I know he's full of shit as a Christmas turkey. But I do enjoy conversing with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you're interesting.
We can tell.
But I'm telling hold on, Gigi. Hold on a minute. You're frigid. The thing is that
frigid.
What Gary just said is a pile of bullshit. He is on his ass.
Oh, come on.
Can I
Nobody.
say
Yeah.
Mr. Solution.
do you
Hello.
And you muted me. You didn't mute any one of those women.
Hello, Mr.
You
Solution.
sexist jerk.
Mr. Solution.
Wow.
That's something.
Is that? Wait a minute. Is that Ottawa? Hey, Ottawa, how you doing?
Fine.
We have a guest here. Her name is
I
LeTisa.
really enjoy this young lady in the wee late hours. I really thought when I first heard you earlier today, and I'm sorry, what's your name of the guest that's on the line?
LeTisa.
Okay. Well, I must say that you sound like a different person from when you started with the program earlier in the day.
Well, you know.
It's very interesting.
So
thank you.
You're welcome. It's just a matter of dialogue, the conversation.
That's right. Absolutely.
So it's Chaos was asking me questions, and I was answering the questions. Now we're having an actual dialogue, so it's going to be different, right? So the dynamic is going to be different.
Absolutely. I agree.
But I did want to ask if anyone is familiar with Anthony O'Neill.
Anthony.
No.
Okay. Is anybody familiar with Dave Ramsey?
No, I've never heard of that person.
I am.
Okay. So Anthony O'Neill is a student of Dave Ramsey. Like, he is like his biggest success story. Anthony O'Neill is a multimillionaire. However, how he lives his life is on frugality. Meaning, not necessarily frugality, but he budgets everything because he pays for everything in cash. If he can't pay cash with it, he's not getting it, right? This is a man who also budgets dates. He's more of a, I'm not going to do the big thing, spending $300 on excursions and dates when I really don't know her. I had the hardest time with him at first. I was like, wait, you're a multimillionaire, and you mean to tell me that you're taking women on walks in the park? But then he broke it down to it was about his values. He was really looking for that old school, old-fashioned falling in love like his parents and grandparents. He'd rather just, but even with him and all of his budgeting, the man would never just go for a walk and talk. Like, even if he knows that he has to make it something special, even if it's going to be a picnic. Like, I've had help clients, date coaching clients, plan inexpensive dates, and they got second dates, and it was no problem because it was about the thoughtfulness, the consideration, generosity. A picnic date doesn't cost that much, like, especially when you have her favorite things. So it's like you're asking a woman on a date, and then you don't want to give her this experience that says, yes, I want to go out with you again. I mean, you're not – the likelihood of getting a second date off of the way some of these men – it's not just Mr. Solutions. A lot of men, for some reason typically it's men who come from the lower socioeconomic class backgrounds, typically raised by single mothers, or their mother was the dominating figure in the household. Father was there. And they have these hang-ups about women, and they operate in this fear of losing their money, and they feel like everyone is trying to get their money when majority of women are modern. Majority of women want to work for themselves. Whether they have a lot of money or not, they want to work. They want to feel like they're bringing something of value to the relationship, to the marriage. And usually how they assess that is, I need to be contributing financially. So this idea that all these women are just going out with men for dinner dates, these men are looking, and it's mostly men on social media. Like, I've noticed this happening a lot with YouTube subscribers, where you do see a lot of these women who are partaking in these level up videos and all this other stuff, and they're part of these little social groups where, they're all about themselves and what they can get from a man. But that is this very small. That is like less than 1% of the female population. Less than 1%. and you're having all of this dialogue and all of this focus off of less than 1%. Can you imagine if women looked at men the same way? What's the percentage of black men that are incarcerated? It's not that high, right? It really is not that high. But if we treated you all as if you were incarcerated, if we treated you all as if you were cheaters, liars, manipulators, and deadbeats, having all these babies out here, y'all would have a problem with that. Y'all do have a problem with that because you're complaining that women do treat you that way, which is not true. If you all would just get out of your head and just sit down and just talk to women and really ask them what they want and what they bring, what they bring, what they're willing to bring, then you would understand that women in the real world do not operate like women on social media. Men on social media as well, ladies. You have to be careful because men on social media are putting forth this false narrative. There's so many 6-7-figure earners on social media, and then you get them in real life. That lifestyle is not measuring up. It is really not. The amount of men in the top, like making 6 figures and above, you're looking at 10% of the total population. If you're looking at just black men, it's about 6%. So all of these men are not successful and well off. And if you are, and you're desiring marriage, and you're the gatekeeper to marriage, how come you have not found your wife?
Wow.
Something needs to be said. The problem lies mostly with you than the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to check ourselves and
said.
hold ourselves accountable more so than trying to look at holding someone as accountable and trying to play victim and saying you're the problem for my dating woes. No, people who are successful at dating, they're enjoying their dating life, they're enjoying the relationships that come out of that, they're not having these conversations. They're not.
Nowhere near.
How about dragging your past relationship?
If I may barge in here just a tad, just to embellish on what you had said about men that they're not having, successful men, especially successful dating men, they're not having these conversations. They're probably talking about how much they spent and how much fun they had with the chick and what they got out of it, you know, and then they probably talking about another one that they did while they was doing another one, and one got jealous and bought them this shit, trying to influence me to come, shit like that. They ain't sitting around whining talking about I can't find the right woman, because successful men, especially in the dating world, are dating quite a bit. So they spending money because it costs gas and everything else. Why would you want to date someone, take someone out on a date, and not, give the person a little bit of a look of, the best side of you, your lifestyle, how you can live if you hanging with me, type of thing. Mr. Solutions is stuck in like the 1700s where it's entitlement. It's, and that don't work anymore. It used to be attractive because that was the way shit worked. But I mean, that shit is like 1950.
Well, we gotta be honest, look, Mama's Boy. Most people back 70 years ago, usually if there is any form of dating, it's very short term, and usually people get married in less than a year or two. Nowadays, people are just dating and dating. So if you think about Mama's Boy, it seems to me from the conversation, and it's become really dull now, that it seems to me that for most men, that I spend money, I'm entitled, I need this right away. You get me? And to me personally, it seems if a lot of dudes would keep pushing this is the rhetoric and this is the argument, that they're not getting much sex at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
being real as a man because I hear it too many times now, and
really?
I live in reality personally, and I only could enjoy the conversation for so long, but I'd be upfront and honest. You know what I'm saying?
It's tired. It's tired as hell, man.
It's dating.
It's tired.
Expert for a long time, and she's here to get you what you want, and she's gonna put you in the right position. But if at the income or the outcome you're seeking just only the sex, you're going to be disappointed at the end of the day. Now, mind you, Al Ross Kerr wrote a few books, and I was hoping to try to get him on it because he's more of a real expert because he's upfront, personal, and honest, and tell you so you got to get straight to the point. This eliminates all problems. But you know why most men today, Monster will not take his philosophy and what he has taught and coached to a lot of men like that? Because a lot of men are not upfront honest because they fear rejection, they fear they're not going to get what they want, and if they be upfront with women that they either attract to or not, she's going to look at them funny, turn her eye, and move, raise her hand and walk the other way.
Hey, bro, I'm like the sister was saying. Some guys, some dudes come on and they got an agenda, and that's what it sounds like to me because ain't nobody that antiquated. You see what I'm saying? Chaos. Ain't nobody that. Bro, the dating world done flipped and flopped around so many different ways over the past couple of centuries. Ain't no way somebody, sitting over in the corner with a glass of water, at the club. That ain't happening. Nigga got Cristal and shit over in the corner, buddies over there drinking and smoking and trying to invite somebody over there to want to see what's up. This dude would be over in the corner with a glass of water and the lights down low, waiting on his lady. Now, where the ladies gonna be at? They gonna be over there with the Cristal popping and the conversation going on. They not gonna be over there, and he's upset that the world don't like him like that anymore. That dude is sitting over in the corner. He don't want to be that dude, and we trying to help him. And tell them, okay, well, if you don't want to modernize, you don't want to turn into modern male, then they have pages in the back of books. You can call the type of woman that you need. You just pay. You got no date, pay, take care of your business. See you later. You can even set weekly appointments. You know what I'm saying?
But wait a minute, Mama's boy. What you're really ignorant of is you're describing the regular lady just like the lady you can call. Because you're saying there's an entrance fee for her. I know you don't see that, and much of this argument, LeTisa, is just about nothing.
Well, it's monotony, bro. It's monotony, bro. You talking about something antiquated. There's a different way of doing it now.
Are you married or have you been married? And your ass ducked out of that question like nobody could believe. Answer that question. If you're trying to help me that way. Tell me.
I know you're reluctant.
Are you married or have you been married?
You have to listen, brother. I know you're reluctant to my style, but listen. I'm not. This is for real shit. I'm telling you. I almost sympathize with you. Because you like a really old
bicycle. Are you married or have you been married?
Old bicycle, bro, and you still work.
Are you married or have you been married? That's my question.
But everybody's passing me on these 10 speeds. I got to get a goddamn 10 speed.
But do you have the banana seat?
No, I don't.
Damn.
Gigi, I think if you had one, the banana seat would be absolutely invisible.
No, it would be humongous, but thank you.
That's why I was not falling for it, Gigi. I just want to let you know. Your answer is
you are a short, broke loser. You're a short guy, so you love to talk a lot of shit. That's all you really have. Talking shit is your currency.
That's funny because he's not short.
Hey, you want to know what? Then that means I'm
5'9".
Then that means I'm fucking loaded, nigga. I'm loaded then. You fucking talking to nigga? I'm a goddamn gazillionaire. I'm a gazillionaire, nigga. Can you fucking spell that?
Are you married or have you been married? You want to give this fucking advice? Have you been married?
Man, I'm just trying to help you with your lady issue. It's up to you to make a relationship. I'm just trying to put the right
or have you been married?
You know, I'm just trying to put the right lady in your face. You want the
there you go. You see what I'm saying here, LeTisa? Now, he can't even divulge he is married or has been married.
Don't be upset with that, brother. I'm trying to show you exactly what department store you need to go to in your shopping.
You and I are barely of the same species. I'm not your brother.
I'm trying to get you over there. Don't get upset with me.
I'm not getting upset with you. I just simply ask you a question that you keep crawfishing.
Shit, bro. Shit.
All right, you're full of shit, mama's boy. Let me just say that.
Oh, come on. Don't
You
go
can't
there
tell
now.
me that what I told you won't help you. You cannot stand here and say that what I told you to do won't help you.
Mama's boy. Mama's boy is a bum.
You'll get the chair pulled out. You'll get your shoes.
He has a little information.
Hey, bro,
I give
get
him
your
that.
laundry done afterwards.
That's all he has. He's basically a bum. This is his claim to fame right here.
Come on, hold on. Have a rule.
Hey, can I break through the filibuster and get a word in edgeways?
Hold on.
I mean, you've been talking for a while now, goddammit. Give me 45 seconds, and I'll be out. All I need is 45 seconds.
Wait a minute. We got
Don't start yelling, man.
Hey.
I gotta yell because you won't shut up.
Don't yell, man. Don't yell. Nobody's been yelling.
Hold on. I'm going to finish what I'm going to say. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then you can get all you want.
We have
Come
a guest.
on, y'all. We have a guest.
And it's not you, Sarge.
Right. I just want to say, let Ruben Gregory say what he was going to say, and that's it. That's all. Forget it.
On the light.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, listen, LeTisa, pardon, but this is how we get down. But all respect to you, and we appreciate your time, and we appreciate Gary bringing substance to the show.
I love your energy, sis.
Shit.
Thank you.
And you put his ass in check. I think that you gave him some clarification, at least a direction, the right highway, the right lane to go. If he don't want to take that lane and that highway, that's on him.
Spoken by another bum.
Here we go.
Oh, come on.
Well, Mr.
Solutions, another
bum. Mr. Solutions, she took you out the box when she said the modern woman. The minute she said the modern woman. Hold on, Sarge. Wait a minute. You gotta finish. Hey, Sarge, we gotta finish where we was at. Hold on. Now, soon as she said modern woman, she took you out of the playing field because you're not playing on a modern field. You playing on an antiquated field. The world has went more modern. So just by virtue, you are of a minute amount of people in the dating field. Period.
That's bullshit, mama's boy. It's spoken like a true bullshitter. Let Sarge go.
He's claiming his fame.
Man, I swear, man, getting y'all to pass the mic's got to be the most difficult thing in existence.
Here we go.
Hey,
now you know how it is with your
Quiet!
You could go back the way you came.
What sense I made about you guys? And then you got the nerve to talk to me about interrupting somebody. Again, I do not believe anybody with an ounce of common sense goes into a romantic relationship with the idea of conforming their expectations to contemporary mores. If you do, you are not going to find the person you're looking for. When my wife died, I was 3 years without a relationship. It was fine with me because I sensed the very things you're saying I have to do to conform to contemporary mores is exactly the thing I did not want to do. So I'd rather just not have had a relationship at all. Now, I did find a woman who does conform to what I expect to find in a relationship, and that's fine with me because it's a meaningful relationship without any hassles. See, I'm over. Man, y'all need to learn how to pass the mic.
She's also white.
Okay.
That's another story.
And I might say so. That's a very intelligent and effective and logical expression that Sarge just made.
Right.
Period.
She's a white woman, too. She's a white woman. So,
Your mouth.
She's an American woman. Look,
she's a white
women can be women.
Lucian, go find a white woman, please.
can be women. Look, you go find
these bigoted fools, and this is what you get. They're bigots, and they're stupid, and they don't know how to say anything but idiotic, simple-minded comments like that.
And Gigi, for the most part, I don't want to completely castigate her, but for the most part, she's the ringleader of the dingbats.
Oh, thank you too much. But I'm
only dingbat and stupid.
I'm serious. I don't think it matters anymore what race. Just go for it, Mr. Solution.
Wait a minute. What? You know, look, I like you being here for a bad example.
Do the James Brown.
I like you being here as a bad example. But why don't you talk about the dating experiences of your sons? We don't know your sons. I've heard you. Now, see, let me just say this. Gigi knows that there's a lot of truth in what I'm saying, but she's just so full of shit, and she's so perverse and confrontational and contradictory. She knows that her sons bring home some of the very information about the younger women that they're dating that I'm expressing now.
You talk about my son, and then you won't let me talk. They just say, Mom, it's not like that anymore. Mom, it's not like that anymore. I'm like, well, we can go to dinner, and we can meet their parents, and we can go. It's not like that. That's all they say. But they're men, they're not boys. So.
Well, yeah, they're men, but why don't you have a real conversation with them so that you can contribute to a conversation? I mean, Gigi... Basically, hold it, and I differ with Sarge a little bit on this. I kind of like you, but it's a hard swallow. It's a hard swallow, though. But I wish some of the time. Hold on. I wish some of the time.
Oh, calm down.
I wish some of the time you would bring real facts, because see, it's going to take you women to really help men like Jay from New York, Mama's Boy, and even Gary.
Because what they won't let me answer it. You ask a question, and then you won't let me answer it. Period.
I think he's waiting for insults. He thinks we're going to insult him.
Wait a minute.
That's all you do, Mama's Boy. Come on.
You talked about the domineering mother, Miss LeTisa. I think that rang a bell. I really do.
Yeah. I think you heard something there.
Yes.
Let's not forget the snap psychoanalysis, boy. We got more people with crackerjack.
You were not here. You were not here.
I mean, just psychiatric degree after psychiatric.
You were not here. You said it.
Sorry. Now, wait a minute. Your nutty self, you got no business talking about psycho anything.
The guest brought it up.
But you do, don't you, from first-hand experience,
right? Damn, here we go.
Hey, Sarge, I have been hit with a barrage of your psycho-igmatic behavior. Okay, so I'm an expert. If you don't remember, I sat through a disc charge.
It came out the jailhouse.
For the sake of this show, you put me through quite a bit of craraziness. I distinctly remember a long conversation over down issues. Okay,
you throw your little fat remarks out there.
You got no room to talk about
this bullshit.
We hear from the guest. Please, is she still here? Did you give up on us, LeTisa?
I'm still here.
See what I mean? Now he goes to pull his little crap and tries to put it on me, and he started it.
As a disclaimer, this is the after hour, so it usually gets a little crazy, but it's nothing personal.
He started it. Just note that. He did.
Sarge,
he called me a psychopath.
Sarge, you crossed the white street a long time ago, Sarge.
There you go again. Racism to the other side.
LeTisa, I have this to say to you, if you can hear me. This madness is addictive.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, addictive.
And it is barking mad over here. It's mad.
Yeah, we got to do. I mean, I swear, man, they love to project. Projection is their stock and trade. They project on the others what they are.
Would you let her talk?
Exactly. They project.
Oh, Jesus.
And I let her talk like I'm keeping her from talking. You hear the way you guys filibuster? Jesus. You better talk to somebody else.
I just can't believe you calling somebody crazy.
You can't believe a lot of things because you're soulless and a nihilist. So I'm not surprised.
So I just want to say that for people who have traditional values, there's nothing wrong with them. We're just a very, very small segment of the population. I don't think Mr. Solutions is as traditional as he. Mr. Solutions is not traditional. He's not.
He's a freak.
LeTisa, I think if you gathered a bunch of successful, sane men, they would very much appreciate the kind of setting that I just advocated. A walk in the park and a bottle of water is an absolute positive. Now, I know a lot of people. And see, look, I don't have to airs, okay? That's not what I do.
If she's homeless,
I don't have to do that. Gigi, I wish you weren't here, but I'm glad you are. This is the thing. I don't have to try to impress a woman with money. Okay, what I like to do is see, unlike what Sarge just said, I like to see if the woman has a soul and if she's reasonable. And all of those are designed to do that. And the women who are not reasonable, who don't have a soul, it's not like they're making great progress out there. If you look at the battle of life, the struggle of life, more women are being turned out to the streets. In the last recession, more women's jobs were cut than men, basically in the administrative sections and that sort of thing. And so women are going to get the worst end of the stick if they can't partner up. They're either going to have to partner up with other women or with men because they're not going to be able to live alone.
All right. Okay, hold on. One question, Ms. Solutions. Cause you've been divorced now for like 7 years ago, correct?
All right, why don't you just get to the point, Gary? I don't trust your sneaky ass.
Damn, you want to know my background, but you don't want to give yours. Ain't that ironic?
Hold on, mama's boy, you loudmouth bitch. I've already said that. Not like I have to keep repeating it.
God, this is so funny.
Okay.
All right, Gary.
Let's move forward. Focus.
You heard me say that already. Why are you trying to poison the fucking well?
Listen. Let's focus. Relax. Not that serious.
Thank you.
When the marriage over, she filed the divorce, or you did?
Look, I'm not going to get into all those particulars. Are you married, or have you ever been married?
I asked you, sir, a question.
All right, I'm not going to get into all the particulars for you. Why don't you just go ahead and make your substanceless point?
You're acting like a female now. I asked you a question.
All right, and I just said, make your substanceless point without my input on that question.
All right, we'll move forward. Since you don't answer.
Thank you, because that's a nonsense-ass question. You know that there are some vicious...
nonsense? Because you know I'm
married. But there are nothing but vicious son of a bitches over here. And why would I divulge more than is necessary?
I take that as a compliment.
What's more to hide?
You know, there are basically nothing but savage animals over here. That's what they are. They love red meat, rotting red meat.
That's why you're here.
Oh, shit.
I'm here to survey and study the savages. You're right.
Nobody looks at that,
yeah, like a safari, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, like a buzzard.
Oh, shit.
Well, buzzards at least serve a useful purpose. What's your excuse?
Right.
Hey, you just motherfucking watching me kill everything, you fake fuck.
Boy, Mama's boy, I'm going to tell you something.
They just swoop in on what.
That's what it is, you fake son bitch. You get my leftovers. You know better than to come down there while I'm getting busy, don't you? You piece of shit buzzard. Bring your
Mama's boy does. He's an absolute master.
When I'm down here eating, bring your bitch ass down here.
He's an absolute master in bullshit.
You fucking buzzard.
He's been in and out of jail more than you can count on all your fingers and all your toes. And guess what? He'll tell you he doesn't mind going to jail again.
You damn scavenger.
Incarceration is his claim to fame.
Fame's just a good reason to go.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, you call the buzzards in.
Every time we doing some killing, here come the damn buzzards.
These guys who are broke, they're just like, they're what I call alternate bitches. They love to tell other guys how to spend their money. They don't have any, by the way. And they'll never have any money. They'll always live hand to mouth.
How much is a bottle of water, though?
But you keep going back to this.
Good point.
Money.
As if people are telling you to spend this extravagant amount of money, and no one is saying that. We're like, can she even get a pretzel or shish kebab? And you don't even answer that. So it's like you have this idea of, I just want conversation. I just want to get to know you. Okay, fine. But dating is not, I mean, that's what the talking phase is about. It's just to vet the person, collect the data, and then once you collect the data that you desire, then you move on to the next phase, which is a date. What you're trying to combine two things and trying to have a positive outcome. And in this day and age, it's not going to yield high results, but then it's like you're frustrated about it. Well, if you're going to be frustrated, you have to do
LeTisa, you're very myopic. I have bought dinner, but what I find is that's all that triggers you guys is because I say that a woman isn't entitled to a man's money. And that's all this argument is about. I bought a number of women dinner, but I'm saying she's not entitled to it. It's a gift. It's a matter of grace. But see, you guys just focus in on it, want to grab a guy by the throat and say, you owe a woman dinner. I don't, and I'll never succumb to that.
If you ask her out, you do.
Wait a minute, but I'm saying she should do some of the asking out.
No,
you
I mean, if you ask, we just talking about this specific instance, brother. We just brought up this specific instance. You the one that took this shit on a trailer park ride.
She can do some of the asking.
For dinner. You asked a woman out for dinner, bro, and you don't want to pay for dinner. What the fuck you ask her out for?
Okay, the argument you're making is your argument. It doesn't apply to me. I'm saying that women have a mouth like you. I think you're a woman in drag. The thing is the woman can ask a man out.
Okay,
she can balance this shit off.
Women do. Women do that.
Are women asking you out?
No.
I have had some women do it, but see, generally women don't do it because they feel privileged, and a lot of women have no intestinal fortitude. Asking a man out would help a woman probably more than anything else she does, because sitting back waiting on a man to ask her out, they're not getting the outcomes that they want either.
I'm starting to get a headache because I'm like, can y'all hear when someone starts talking or not?
I know. It's sad, sister. I know.
And I know I have a very low voice, but trying to complete my thoughts and finish what I'm saying and get questions asked, it's like I've been on this phone too long now, to where it's like, okay, something's got to give. Like,
we've been trying to do that.
So women do ask you out. Then why not focus on those women? Why isn't it turning into something more with the women who are asking you out?
Well, the few women that do it, period. Only a few women do that overall. Now, there are groupies music groupies, entertainment groupies, this kind of stuff. Okay, basketball or sports star groupies. But that's too few women that are participating in this particular necessity. And women are the net losers.
Whoa, stop.
Wait a minute. Let me just finish the statement, if you don't mind. Women are the net losers.
You
overall.
refuse to answer her questions directly.
Why don't you shut up, you mute?
Around and she asked you questions
Hey,
directly
you shut
and
your
you
ass
refuse
up.
to answer them.
You're a mule.
I would like to say something.
If women were asking you out, I'm not interested in all the women that go after all these I can't say high caliber, but high profile men. I'm talking about you specifically. Do women ask you out?
Not enough, LeTisa. That's what I just said to you, and maybe someone interrupted that you didn't hear me.
No, that wasn't.
What I'm saying is, the numerosity is not there, therefore there's not enough interaction. Yes, a few do, and for a number of reasons that doesn't work out, just like in any case it wouldn't work out, whether I ask them out or not. But if more women, it's a trial and error engagement, and women have to be more participatory in this necessary behavior.
But you're not even getting the outcome you desire from the women who do ask you out.
I know that. I just said that.
Whoa. There's no need to yell at me.
Yeah, why are you yelling?
Repeating what I just said. I acknowledge.
Calm down, Mr. Solutions.
I acknowledge that. What I'm saying is, look, there's a solution here. In order for there to be a relationship, there has to be massive participation. And all I'm saying is most women idle are sitting back and not engaging in that necessary participation.
Let her finish what she was saying.
That is false. You're saying that you want women to participate more, as in initiate and ask you out more so that you can have more favorable outcomes. But you're not even having any favorable outcomes with the few women who are asking you out.
Oh, damn! So you don't understand. You're being.
And he wants them to ask him out, so he doesn't even have to buy a bottle of water. Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're being very myopic here.
Mr. Solutions, can you let her finish? She's in the middle
we can finish. You're the problem.
She's talking. She's still talking, and you talking. Be quiet.
Stop talking.
You stop talking.
Hey, old ass, dried up woman. Go in your closet.
Can we let
Ain't no dry over here. You sound dry.
Ignorant ass. Your old ancient ass, which nobody wants. Dried up ass. Shut up.
Please let
you're not making your point trying to insult other people.
You shut up. I don't care what you have.
Problems, Mr. Solution.
I have problems too. You're manless.
You've been having them for a while.
The man would come by and do is maybe come and hit that old dried up ass. You're not worth a man spending money on.
With you, in terms of how you relating with sisters.
Oh, no good, sisters. You're no good.
Got it right.
Oh my God.
You're no good.
You haven't got it right yet, and you're getting old now. You
are old. A man ages like wine. A woman ages like milk.
Age like wine. At 18, you was on your downswing.
That's the reason men are leaving the country. All they have is these old, dried up, worthless women.
Look. It's late, brother. Your circulation is poor.
Right. It's past your bedtime, and I'm not your brother. Not related.
See, you're in your senior
The tall woman.
And you missed the mark.
All you women with great caution and reservation.
Because you know why you really haven't been successful, Mr.
Why haven't you been successful? Your old ancient ass. You're sitting up there alone yourself. Don't you see it? Look in the mirror.
I'm telling you that you don't run nothing as a male. It's
Shut up.
That's running it. And we know
with your own unwanted ass.
Dinner with you
and you're broke. Your pussy isn't good, and you're broke.
Listen.
Please.
You've been trying to get answers for a long time, Mr. Solution.
Your pussy is worthless, and you're broke.
And what is your little pickle doing?
How's your pussy?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Doing? You not even getting no blood circulation to that area. So you ain't getting no hard on.
I can and do get everything you can.
No, you ain't doing. You flicking it. You probably.
Why don't you just stop talking to me? Because I don't like your conversation.
Because you're not going to insult me. You're not going to insult me without me throwing some back at you.
Address you. I didn't address you.
Well,
don't address me.
Participating in the conversation. We have a guest on the line who has something significant.
Don't address me.
So
address your
Solutions. You don't have to go that way. Come on, you more intelligent than that. You don't have to.
No, what I'm saying is, you guys don't address your own situation.
You keep talking over everybody.
All you cowards do is pile up on my situation.
Gary trying to get into the damn show, and you still talking over him.
You don't
talk about your own failures.
You're not in control, Mr. Sarge. What's your solution?
Your own failures are legion. Talk about
them. You're not running anything.
Damn, man, shut up, dude.
You're not running nothing.
Go back to jail, mama's boy, you worthless, broke, busted ass.
You always calling somebody broke.
Because he is. You are too.
You know that Sister LeTisa just got through saying how people perpetrate on these internet. And
now, what does that mean, perpetrate? That means to commit. What are they committing?
Perpetrator. You always trying to make somebody think you.
What am I committing, old dried up weasel?
Say that. Your conversation don't say that you got anything.
You should be, look, as a woman, you should exercise wisdom and be quiet.
I am all the time.
Old ass woman, you should exercise wisdom with your ancient ass.
All the time. All the time.
All right. I'm not doing this tonight, man. I think I heard enough. Where's LeTisa? LeTisa, there? LeTisa? Hello?
Yes. Hello?
I'm not sure how long you're going to be on tonight. To keep asking questions. It's not getting nowhere. It's all like it's getting foolishness. I'm getting fed up personally. The reason, and this is the first time I've been up on the after hour. Usually I just call it a day and let people have it, but LeTisa, this is not going to work personally.
What's going
and personally, I don't mind you staying on and having the discussion, but the discussion personally, from what I'm hearing back and forth, this is not going nowhere. In my mind, you get me? You answer the question that you need to answer, and you're not getting the answers, question answered on your side. It's pointless at this point. And I'm gonna say personally, I wish this was happening earlier, that we had something to bring tangible to the stream. But our show personally was more. It had more substance and base to it. There's nothing right now. This is like the Nick show first. Get me?
Yeah.
I don't mind having it, but I can't do it. If you get headaches, I know I don't get headaches from this, but I'm going to shake my head and say, what's on here, person? You get me? Because, as you know, men that got real money, actual money, is not complaining about what they can't get with their money. There two things. Either you're paying for it or not. I never heard some of the dudes hoping that women ask for, initiate. What world you live at? This is not South America. This is not the DR, them place that's dirty damn countries that they probably will look at you as American and they'll probably do it because they know you got money. And mind you, the United States goes further outside America. You're aware of this, LeTisa.
Mm-hmm.
So if these dudes complain about the submission, lack of participation, doing their roles, etc., I get it. But it lets you know that if you had to hope that these women are going to change, do this, you ain't that nigga. It's that simple. You're not that nigga. Just like some women complain, the other side say you ain't that chick. You might have to do more just to get these outcomes in this first world Western nation. But all this hoopla about initiation, who's paying for it, going to these little cheap parks with the water. I mean, I would ask questions, but at the point, as I'm listening, this don't seem like any man, and I've done with enough men in Las Vegas that's complaining at this rate. Because if you complain at this rate, obviously you don't got it like that. Even if you say you got the money. And if you got the money like that, it's in question that that means you're not social enough to get that outcome. But what you about to say?
Right. Well, he just seems like, Mr. Solutions just seems like not a nice person, and he doesn't have the personality. Plus, he keeps calling these men broke and busted. I don't think he's up at the socioeconomic class that he is trying to portray. I think he may have a little bit of money. He might be an above-average earner.
It's trolling right now at this point.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, a person that got it like that, number one, women should be a little bit simple. You pay for it, and it just go with next one.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, a lot of these people, I know Mr. Susan's watch Kevin Samuels. He tells you how to move out here. And mind you, he don't got like that. He just started making real serious money in 2021.
Oh, so he's bringing his mentality of when he didn't have it. He's trying to move.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm
saying
personally, he faked it and he made it.
Okay.
He did not get the outcomes serving men, dealing with men for the last 7 or whatever years. My fault, 3 years. But when I'm gonna give you a timeline. I was thinking of doing this, but I'm still thinking on it. I feel like doing this a compilation of all his work personally, so people look at the backstory of what led him to what he is now. Well, not to the point, but it's like a whole memoirs. You get me? I was still thinking on doing that. I might not do it, but I'm still thinking on it. And the story is this: that he tells most dudes when High Value Man, when he presented back in the summertime, whatever, or 2020, that it was a trend just to attract and dangle it to the women. That's it. And when you find behind the scenes from the few films of him, that I see leaked now on the internet while he died, and the things that when he didn't really have with child support back in 2005, all this stuff, it shows that the only thing that he really got when he started working for himself was YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's just the honest truth. And I don't care anybody want to hear it. I'm saying personally. And trust me, I watched Kevin's material. I've been subscribed to him for the last, maybe almost 4 years. And I see only a few contents here and there when he deals with the men. There's no outcome. There's no market for that. But and he said it in a private video that someone leaked, said if he shift gears to his content only on the women, he said, I will be a millionaire. This nigga was not lying. And you know why? Because he has a look, he has the presentation to make it happen.
Yep.
And lo and behold, not over 1 whole year, he became a millionaire. And it goes beyond subscriber count. People didn't know how much he was racking in a month back in just as 2021 started. He was racking roughly every month $500K in advertising. So it lets you know, said the fake it and make it. Not every black person is gonna do this, and a lot of black men that still doing content or wherever they're doing on social media are hoping to be that next Kevin Samuels. And they're never gonna be that.
But they won't, because they don't understand how the fake it till you make it works. Like Kevin was with a lot of women desired. Regardless of you thought if he was gay or whatever, he put on that persona. He looked good in where he wore. It was well groomed. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. This Mr. Solutions guy, he does not sound like a high value man. He just sounds like someone who is a high earner. He does not sound like he has a high caliber social circle. He's probably a loner, and and he doesn't have many hobbies or interests, and he likes to berate other people to make himself feel better.
Yeah.
But dude is weird. It was weird, the lack of emotional intelligence that was It felt like
not there. It's not there. I'm the most person at my age more attention to a few men that I deal with. It takes a lot for me to outburst, personally, and I get it. But for every little thing,
is this normally how after hours go?
You know, it mixes up sometimes. But only time you get this is maybe when I do my shows. Sometimes, because let's be honest, I don't get it like that, like I used to on here. But when I do, it's always a A+. But overall, I'm not expecting it because, you know, I do my content, nonetheless, you know. I create a subject, put it out, and leave it as is, and let the crowd decide what to do with it. Oh, it is. It is what it is, you know. But all this over-emotional stuff and, you know, not answering questions and then, you know, the outbursts, I mean, let's be honest. If you spend money on your database, personally, LeTisa, would you even take the money at this point? After this being around? No. You wouldn't risk it?
I would not take him on as a matchmaking client. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And mind you, she doesn't just take the money. She always want to do a real background on you first of all before even wasting time taking your damn money. Because, let's be honest, if you have certain issues like this about paying for dates and hoping women are supposed to approach you or any little problems you have, you're not going to be a good client that should be on database.
Men with money, no one understands what they're getting them, what they understand what's, like, I get some clients who, you know, adjust their expectations because ideally when you're looking for someone 20, 30 plus your junior, it's going to be transactional. She's not coming to the table off the rip trying to fall in love with you. She's looking for stability. But most wealthy men understand. It's these modern men who don't quite understand it. It's weird. It's the one. I wouldn't say it's the ones who try to conflate and mix values who are trying to have it all. They're the ones who have the most difficult dating life because you have this ideal of what a woman should be and how it should be, but you don't want to engage in how a man should be. If you're going to have these expectations on the woman, then you need to understand she's going to have expectations on you too. There's nothing wrong with expectations. It's are they healthy and realistic expectations? Yeah. And a lot of people just don't have healthy expectations. Men are the gatekeepers to marriage. If you want to get married, then why aren't you? Women are the gatekeepers to sex, but you know what women aren't complaining about? How they can't find a bed partner, how they can't find a man to have sex with, because that just doesn't exist.
Women, sex is free out here. Now that I think about it. Well, for women.
Right. But the thing is, even the ugliest, the fattest, the lowest caliber, least desirable women among us don't have a problem getting sex.
Yes.
Because they know what's necessary to make it happen. Right? So if men want marriage, you seek it out from the women who want marriage, and you make it happen. The truest reality is they really don't get married. They don't want to get married. And they're using women's behavior as a justification, as a cop-out as to why they don't want to get married, but yet they're still expecting the benefits of a man who is moving for the purpose of marriage. Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's why when we look at these young women now, it would be nice that if they, you know, settle down a little as early as possible. But let's be honest, in this environment and how people think nowadays, I just don't know, man. I can't. You know, because the mentality is bad. It's garbage for either side right now.
Young women want to be someone old enough to be their daddy and their granddaddy. They don't want to do that anymore. And young men want to get married. Men, for the most part, especially black men, aren't looking to get married until they're in their mid-30s. Yeah. So who is a 30-something-year-old woman supposed to marry? Then they're going to say, well, she needs to marry somebody who's in his 40s. She don't want to marry somebody who's in his 40s. She want to marry somebody age. So,
well, it goes to let you know that this we have in America, as much as black people admit, this is an economic issue. And not only, and that's also a behavior issue with us. That while we don't really still seek relationships, long term and marriage, real serious, we're winging it and having this fun. And playtime has to be over eventually. And we have not got to that point yet. Our young people now, and let's be honest, we dropped the ball. I'm just sorry to say it, we did. Because to have these arguments excuse, and let's be honest, most people on the average, especially women, if they're going to deal with anybody, usually somebody that's maybe a decade older, at least, maybe. But most likely, they want someone that's almost close as possible. They don't want nobody super, super old. You get me? Regardless, you got money. You know? That's how people are built here in America. Now, outside America, it's a little different because, you know, their culture, regardless is intact or not, that is not really as seen as anything that you have to emulate because, let's be honest, you live in a third world country. You're not industrialized. Hell, you're not technologized like up here in America or any other first world nation. Once you start getting into that realm, you're going to have the same problems we have here in the West. And that's just the bottom truth. You get me?
Yeah.
And see, and this is why when people talk about finance and all this nonsense, I say relationships. You gotta look at relationships much deeper than the finance aspect. You gotta look at the compatibility. You're saying, are you a good person? All this stuff, because money is gonna be there regardless. Because here, both of y'all gonna be working or doing something. So you gotta think of that aspect. What's gonna hold and bind you now? You know what I'm saying? We don't live in an era where, you know, women have to seriously, let's be honest, in order for them to get something, they gotta be on a certain man. Those days are done. And I had this conversation with Paco, aka Dr. Black, said men have to eventually adapt one way or the other. If not, you're gonna be asked out. And if you're not even passed on your seat, and you definitely screwed. You get me?
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know. Now, we don't want... Now, yes, single motherhood is bad, yes. But I tell you, outside America, it's even worse. America, Colombia, and some other parts of the country, they have a higher single mother rate. But they don't find that a problem because, let's be honest, and I'm going to say it personally, they're not black women.
Exactly.
The only thing we have is, with the Negroes here, that black is evil, black is bad, so anything black is partially bad, but anything that doesn't look black, it's okay, we can ignore it. You can, I'll put with the shit because it's not black. Because black is bad, evil. And we got to be honest with ourselves. Will we put up the same shit with other race people, how we do with our own? No, we're not. I've seen it. You've seen it personally. So I'm done with it. I'm probably going to drop you down just because it don't make sense to stay on here. You get me? I'm calling night.
Oh, did you end the show or no?
No, the show's ended. It's done now. It's been done.
Okay.
So I'm, you know what I'm saying? But we'll talk, all right?
All right.
Take care now.
You too. Bye.
All right. I'm done, guys. I'm on the open mic lines.